Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Procrastinators Podcast. You are greeted by me, Bestie Boy Man. And who else is here? We've got Give and Take.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
It's that time of year, everybody. We've got other reindeer pulling the sleigh, Tom Oliver.
Oh, what fun it is to be super fucking gay. Dab.
As expected, there's Ben Saint.
That's me.
Bring up the rear.
Christmas. Fuck.
And Mage, our purple-nosed reindeer, leading the pack.
I Wish You a Merry Christmas is actually a very funny song once you know all the lyrics.
Why is that?
Because they ask for figgy pudding, and I didn't know
Right.
what figgy pudding is, and it just sounds so funny to me. It's a and
It
they're
sounds
like, oh, we
faggy
love,
pudding.
and
It
then-
does.
It's just pudding with figs in it.
but it sounds so funny when you
Getting
you
figgy
sing
with
like,
it.
oh, give us some figgy pudding, oh, give us some figgy pudding. It's
It
just so
is an
funny.
amusing word.
Oh,
I
give us a
guess- I
break.
guess so.
Give us a break. I don't like Christmas.
Break
Get
me
the
off a piece
gun,
of that
get
Kit
the
Kat
rope.
bar.
Let me see. Today, people will be hearing this on Friday the 13th,
No.
which is
No
This
fucking way.
This is the last
Oh, yeah.
time people
Oh,
are
yeah.
hearing me on the public podcast.
Oh no, mate!
this
Oh, yeah,
you
you're
year.
not.
going to? Are you
This
going
year.
to? Are you going to go back to the North Pole and be Santa?
Yes, that is my plan. How
You're
did
going to
you
be
know?
very busy.
Yeah.
when this comes out, shortly after this, I think on this day, we are doing a PCP Minecraft stream on this very channel. So you will see it here shortly after this
Actually,
episode goes live.
Speaking of Minecraft
Maybe you're
server,
listening to this episode while playing in the Minecraft server with us right this moment.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so.
But
Yeah.
Jump in there.
there's an event going on. People have to have like their little houseies, and
Mm-hmm.
they put in their wish lists for the Santa of the server, and they might get some things from their wish list. And the deadline is the 15th. So if you want to get some free goodies right off the bat,
have
feel
2
free to
days.
join. Yeah.
How exciting.
I'm gonna put at the top of my wish list to be banned from the server. Granted.
Patreon.com/PCP Minecraft, everybody.
You
Go
too can
join
get
the good
banned.
times.
Well,
So
if
what are you
you've
guys
been
doing?
a good little boy or girl, then perhaps.
Who's going home for Crimbus? I will be
Me.
going home for a few days.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I-
I'm
I
not going
guess
home.
so.
I'm going to my
Yeah.
parents. I am home.
right.
I'm going. I mean,
same
I'm-
here. It's
I'll
not where I
be
live.
home, but like it's not that far for me. It's like an hour's train ride.
Right. That'll be good. Check in with the folks. Christmas Eve will be a party time. Ben, we did a little shopping for you. We have a gift that we have acquired that
No-
you shall receive in
no
the near
shit.
future.
No
The
shit.
joke is you're going to be given the gift, and then Nate is going to take it when he leaves.
And then I'll wear it on my feet, and you'll see how you like it, Ben.
Okay. What is it?
Yeah, no one knows. It's a mystery.
Okay.
They
It's,
bought it
is
without
knowing. Is it a toothbrush?
Is it
Someone
slime in a
said,
box?
"Here's a gift that you don't know what it is. Purchase it, and then when actually, here's a brand new concept that I'm selling to everyone right now. It's you buy an item from me. You don't know what it is. The person you're giving it to doesn't know what it is. So when that person opens it, it's a surprise for everyone there. Now that's fun. That's doubling the fun.
You know what you should do? You should go to a shop on the high street, close your eyes, and just run in some random direction. The first
charge
thing,
money held out in front to
the first thing
towards
you
the
fucking
nearest
smash
vendor.
into and fall over on. That's the present. Keep your eyes closed. Grab it with both
We
hands.
have
run.
only the moment
Like,
of
I want-
impact to determine what
you
it
just
is.
keep bumping into things until the amount of money you're holding out exceeds the value. So until you hear a shopkeep yell "sold," and then you grab whatever you got, stuff it in your pocket, and run away.
It's
I
a
think
brand
this is a
new
concept
fucking
people can get
electric
into.
toothbrush. Woohoo!
We sell.
Wahoo!
Okay, we partner up with I don't know. I'm picturing the setting at some cheap porn movie. I don't know why, but that seems appropriate for it. And in the setting, it's like a panic room or one of those event rooms, escape room. That's the word I'm looking for. And you gather there.
What kind of a porn has a panic room or an escape room?
Yeah,
What kind of shit are you into, Nate?
that's where I go go before I'm about to film my scene, where everyone will see my ween and how nervous that makes me.
He has this emergency Coomer panic room, you know, when just...
I'm just wondering, what about this is a porn at all?
I'm just picturing like a shitty room. That's all it is. That's the only connection here, and that's
There's
the first
shit
thing
on the
that came to
walls
my
as
mind.
well. What the fuck?
There's shit on the walls.
Oh yes, the distinctive thing about porns is that they take place in rooms.
Unfortunate rooms. That's the main defining characteristic of most of the films I watch.
I've watched
Okay,
a lot
so you
more
go to a
porn
room,
than I
right?
thought I did then.
Here's the deal. This is a new product I'm going to be selling with my services. You hire me, Nate, to find you a cheap porn room that's just been used to film porn. In that room, on the casting couch, we sit down, you and your whole extended family. And on this casting couch, we're given a lump sum of money by you and your group beforehand. We go out and we buy the gifts, and we give them to everyone. And then you people, you lowly creatures engaging in this voluntary exchange of goods and services, get to open the gifts, and nobody knows what they're getting. We, as the service providers, get the gifts, so everyone gets surprise things that hopefully are at least kind of nice.
Well,
I bet some people would be into that. I bet someone would
I
like
don't know
that. And
if
it
there's any
saves you the
goods,
trouble
but there's
of
certainly a
having to buy
service being
gifts.
provided of
It
dubious
is.
quality.
It is. Well, I mean, hopefully we'll get some good Yelp reviews, and then we'll work our way up the corporate ladder, and we'll be doing it for Steve Jobs next year, everybody in hell.
Everybody hates white elephants, but we all do them. We all do. We do white elephant.
What's a
every
white
fu-
elephant? I don't
every
know what
fu-
that is.
What? It's the
What's
Yankee swap.
Oh, okay.
I feel
know
like
that
more
is.
people know it as a white
Huh?
elephant, but we
What?
here in New England call it a Yankee swap.
I've
A
never
what?
heard the term white elephant ever.
Is
Really?
that like a
Okay.
is that like
Hmm.
a Republic or a Democrat thing?
No, it's a God. It's the thing where everyone buys a gift, and then you
Mhm.
pool them all, and then you draw lotteries, and then you.
Oh, Secret Santa.
Not quite.
Sort
not
of,
exactly.
but then you go around in the order that you drew the lots, and then the
Mhm.
next person picks one from the pile, opens it, and then gets to choose
I
someone
remember doing
else
that
who
in school.
already opened one, and they get to switch with them.
Right.
So the whole
So it's
time
like
there'll
a-
be like one good gift that everyone keeps trading for, usually.
Mhm.
It's basically the worst idea ever, and I don't know
It
why
Yeah,
is.
people
it's
do
just
them.
like how
No,
to
it's fine, it's
guarantee
fine.
yourself disappointment and a shitty gift.
Right.
It's like, is
it's
this a
kind
Nintendo
of fun.
64 game?
I mean-
Rattles the box.
I
You
mean,
guys-
I
okay,
guess
well-
it's something to do for an hour.
You're thinking about this as like a game to win the best gift. What it really is a game to spend the time that you're forced to be with your family and friends in some way that
Yeah,
can
it's-
be,
that's
you
what I
know, you
mean.
can have
It's
a
it's something to
conversation
do.
about.
I don't know.
It's some-
so-
it's
win or
something
lose,
to
it
do.
sounds like evil corporations win by making us buy more useless shit that we don't actually even want.
Well, there's definitely that. All of the whole
Well,
consumerism
I think
game.
the conceit is that if you weren't doing the Yankee swap, then
You'd have to talk to them, and God
no,
forbid
no,
that.
then you would have
No.
to like pick out a gift for someone, but you're not
Right,
doing that.
right.
We're sidestepping the need to do that. You can find as generic a gift as possible. You can just get something and throw it into a pool.
It's like a monkey's paw thing. You don't have to worry about picking a gift, but you don't get a good one either. So it's like
you
everybody
might.
loses.
One person gets a good gift,
yeah,
basically.
trade-offs.
One person's
Some-
guaranteed.
I got the best gifts for my
Yeah.
for my immediate family, my brothers and my mom and dad. They're gonna be like, oh nice, oh woo hee, and I'm gonna be the cool guy. I'm gonna be the
I
best
got-
son.
That is good.
I got gifts.
I can't
Sort
believe
of,
you
kind of
fuckers
as well.
got gifts. I don't have any gifts.
Okay,
To
well,
be
it's
fair-
I mean,
like-
I guess I'll have to get some, but like, whatever.
Michelle's the one who picked out the stuff that we got so far. I have not done anything, including buy anything for Michelle. Oh, actually, technically I did, but that was like a side thing. So I'm still high and dry, and it is a nightmare. I don't want to have to think about it, but I do, and the day creeps ever closer that I'll be have the
It's
gun to my
nightmare.
head. So.
Nightmare.
I've not-
Nate,
I've
what
not bought
happened to our
anything either.
pact? We used to get each other nothing as our mutual Christmas gift. What happened
You
to
can
that?
still get me nothing. I don't care. It's
well, maybe I
Michelle took
just
it upon
fucking
herself
will.
to buy something.
Okay, all right.
So blame her. Put the gun to her head.
I do. All right,
Okay, good.
fair enough.
My present is there's
Grimace.
one bullet. Please give it back.
Fancy that. I rented you a gun. Oh, no. Now neither of us have what we want this Christmas.
I sold all my ammunition to buy
To
this
buy-
gun.
yeah, I sold my guns to buy you this ammunition.
Oh, now what are we gonna do?
A tale as old as time. What if I sold all my time to buy this pocket watch? Oh, alas, no time is left, so it has no function.
Wait, isn't a watch? No. A watch is already part of the original story, you clod.
Well, shit. Okay, I forgot. What did the other guy sell in the watch?
The woman sells her hair to buy the guy a watch chain, and the guy sells his watch to buy her combs for
and then
her
he
hair.
uses the chain to strangle her because she bought such a shitty gift.
He used to strangle first himself and then his wife, yes.
Yeah, that's right. As he fell, the chain wrapped around her
that's
throat.
a happy holiday ending.
They both said, "Thank you, sir."
And then they fused together and became the super rat that dominates the streets underneath in the sewer system below, Gotham City. I believe that's what led to the creation of the superhero known as the Rat Man. That's my favorite villain. He's got a deep lore.
Deep. It runs deep.
Hey, while we're on this tangential subject, I have a public service announcement to make. Because it's been quite entertaining for me to watch, and this is a Michelle thing, and it's that there have been quite a number of people. It's been quite staggering to see who have just been kind of assuming, and this does relate to me, that Michelle does not have a job and is simply leeching off of me, like as her whole lifestyle. And look, we all know she gives off that vibe. We're all very well aware that Michelle certainly comes across that way.
Yeah, I think I saw this on Twitter. I don't remember when it started, but I've seen her get annoyed about it.
And this was partially used as an insult to me, like, Nate, what a loser, stand up for like your principles and blah blah blah, and like stop letting your girlfriend leech off you. But I'm not going to get into like all the details because whatever, it doesn't matter. But like Michelle,
she definitely
financially
works.
More than pulls her weight and has 2 jobs
she definitely
right now.
Works. Yeah.
So I mean, I hate to rush to this. But it seems like a lot of people might think we got a pretty girl here. Like, we're just making some assumptions about. No, she definitely doesn't work. But she does is the thing. So perhaps these people should check their own assumptions before
maybe they should
running
check.
away.
Maybe they should check their own no job privilege.
Actually, you know what was funny? The person that Michelle was really fighting with on Twitter, like, clearly was like an unemployed person. It's something along the lines of.
Was he trying to build like no job solidarity with her?
No. It was like, Michelle is such an asshole on Twitter, which he absolutely can be at times. Like, their case was that, like, Michelle's such an asshole. Like, of course no one would hire her for any job. And it just calls into question this person's understanding of the nature of employment itself. So I just assume they don't have jobs.
Like a store would look up your Twitter profile.
They'd search your like if you're
Some
a
people
cashier,
do.
they're going to be
Yeah,
on
some
your
do,
account.
but-
You know,
Like, some
Reddit.
do, but like
Fuck.
so many people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the vast majority of jobs do not really care at all.
I think
I mean,
this
it's
idea
easy to
of being
pretend to be
policed-
nice for like an hour when you take a fucking job interview.
Of course. And like all our parents tell us as we're growing up, like, oh, I mean, I remember this, like, Nate, there's a picture of you like at a party. Do you really want that on your Facebook? What if an employer looks there one
my
day?
God.
I mean, sure, Mom. I suppose that's theoretically possible.
Remember when Dad told us that we shouldn't swear on TBAP?
I mean, based dad, right once again. But,
Epic dad,
yeah.
He
know,
knew
we
all
almost
those
named
years
T-Bap.
ago that you're gonna get demonetized if you fucking did that shit.
I think at the very beginning
Oh
of
shit,
our...
we're not
of our-
COPPA compliant, dude.
No, we're not. We're in big trouble
$46,000
now.
a video.
I hope that TBAP, a channel that's been dead for years, technically a new video was that was this year, okay.
Early this
But
year,
I hope
yeah.
we get sued for every single video on TBAP and we owe, millions all told for
I hope so,
42,000 each video.
I'll have to
can-
sell the
one can only
rights to
hope.
Slime and Punishment to pay for it all.
I think we were going to name our channel or like the channel name is Two Best Brothers Bitch About Ponies.
Nobody
abbreviated
gets
to
it right.
TBAP.
Even everybody
That's
spells it with
shocking.
It is shocking because
so
it's
shocking
so
to me.
easy and it's obvious if you think for a fucking second about it. But everybody spells it
Wait.
with 2 B's. Even people I would expect to understand.
It's true. It's true. What,
3
Gabe,
fucking B's, people.
Oh,
Are you
Two
just
Best
learning
Brothers
this now,
Bitch
Gib,
About
that that's the
Ponies.
meaning of TBAP?
Yeah, I had no idea you guys bitched. No,
Okay. I thought
No,
for a
like,
second. Because I've
I
been
mean,
shocked
it's
before by
on-
people that don't know.
it's
I know, I
on
know.
like it's on YouTube. It's in words. Like I can read.
It's in like every
Yeah,
video we
like,
say
you
the
can
name of
see
the
like
video.
I
yeah.
had trouble
Yeah.
pronouncing
not a
it,
single
but not
fucking
spelling
comment
it.
on YouTube has ever spelled it right. It is amazing.
I mean, I know 3Bs. You don't see it in words in English. That's true. But this is an acronym, and it means something. So,
I used to say
you know.
T-b-b-bap.
You
Which
did,
is-
you did,
yeah,
which was
which
one
is-
B short, frankly. It should be T-b-b-bap.
And while it's not how I personally chose
Wait,
to pronounce
T
it,
b-b-bap
I
is
respect the
correct.
Yeah,
decision
it's
nonetheless.
Yeah, it's correct.
B-b, and then back.
No, yeah, it's
B-b-bap.
T-b-b-bap. T-b-b-bap.
Yeah,
That's the right
thought
one. Yeah.
thought went into it.
Some. Well, glad we cleared that up, guys. Stop being misogynistic against Michelle. It's it's important.
Stop being
It's quite
misogynistic
cruel.
against T-bap as well.
That's my job, guys. I give her enough of that at home. Let's save that for for when it really counts. Then we'll really get
yeah.
it to her. That'll be good.
Epic.
Hey, while I'm speaking of domestic life, I'll spill my guts on my other thing I wanted to bring up, which is just that perhaps you guys will be proud of me, and it's that I have been call me a Brit bong, because I've been a curry making fiend these last several weeks and months.
Oh,
Is
you can
I
curry,
have-
is curry a British thing?
I too have been playing Pokemon.
It's like an
Yes.
adopted British thing. There's a lot of
It
Indian
is.
people in England, and it's become
Plus, like,
a national dish.
Did you
almost.
culturally
God,
appropriate them?
I'm
Dude,
so
yeah,
mad
that's-
about this
dude,
cultural
I'm
appropriation.
so disappointed that the Great Replacement took place, and now British culture doesn't exist anymore.
It is unfortunate.
No.
Oh,
It
whoops.
in the Pokemon game.
Somebody
I don't know
get
if you've
the
played it
Tories.
yet,
They
but
gotta
like
fix
you
this.
make curry. It's like the thing you do in like instead of poffins, there's curry.
Yeah, it's
in the,
kind
you
of
know,
like
Britain
how like Chinese food in America is not the same as Chinese food in China. Like Indian food in England is not really
When I,
Right,
when I was
right.
in when I was in Germany, I remember I asked like, "What's like some German food I should try while I'm here?" And natives told me, "How about currywurst?" And I was like, "What curry? like the Indian stuff?" And they're like, "Yeah, but like on a wurst. Go get some."
I had
was like,
had some of that. That was
straight.
good.
Sure,
pretty
cool,
good.
and it was fine.
I
Well,
don't like curry. I don't think. At least
that's
not
too
the
bad.
ones. Yeah, I know. I want to like it, but it
Well, you
just
know,
doesn't
Mage,
taste so good.
If we're
Which
ever in the same
kinds
area,
of curries
you should
do
let
you
me
get?
make curry. Yeah,
I
I was
don't-
gonna say it depends on the type because
Wait,
I've had
when
Indian
you say curry, do you mean like
Yeah.
the stew, basically? That's like a curry stew with like potatoes and meat and stuff.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you. So it's just remember how I've talked about in the past how about when I was in Japan, I had curry and I love it and I miss it and I want it all the time. I made it. I made it myself. I found the solution because I'm not having Indian curry, which is good, but not like what I wanted. I've been buying like a couple types, but like golden curry. It's specifically the Japanese curry brand, and with that,
What a surprise.
what it is. It's still. I mean, so you
Is it
fry
this-
your
I think
meat.
You can get that stuff in get that stuff in like it comes in like big-
Supermarkets.
in like rectangles. You can get it at like Asian
Yeah,
markets
yeah.
here.
A-
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's like a Japanese product. I assume like other types are different flavor, but this is the flavor I've been seeking. So let me just tell you what I put in this. I've used pork on Thanksgiving. I made turkey curry, and it was fucking delicious. What
I
else
like
use?
that. Thinking
That's-
outside
right?
the box.
My
Right?
dad
That's what we were doing.
Always after like Christmas, all
Mm-hmm.
the leftover meat gets turned into a big curry that is used for
That's
weeks
great.
on end because it's so much
It's-
usually.
It's so good. It's so good.
I wanna
And here's the X factor. I bet you're gonna get into this. So we put potatoes and onions and all those delicious things in, and what's the other one, Michelle? Like cabbage. But what we did on Thanksgiving, and we've been doing a lot, we've been chopping up sweet potatoes and putting sweet potatoes into the curry. And boy, when you bite into these fucking sweet potatoes, I'm on the fucking moon. It's so delicious, and
sweet
I made
potatoes
it.
are really
I'm
good.
so proud. We put it over delicious white rice cooked in my white rice cooker. Well, it's just a rice cooker, whatever. And you pour your slop on
Bring
there.
race into this. God damn it.
Slop.
It's so
Yeah.
delicious, and
That sounds
I've been
pretty
making
great,
it.
Actually, that sounds
It is
wonderful.
great. It is, and here's what you do. I mean, in your rice cooker, you make it once. You've got rice to last you like a couple days. You make your big batch of curry. You make like 2 batches at once, and that'll last you several days, like several meals. And we just sit down and we eat it at our little Japanese table, sitting, Seiza style or whatever, with our chopsticks in hand.
Do you sit
and
on
we
your
shovel
knees?
it down.
On fucking tatami mats.
I try. You can't do it for long. I don't know how the fucking
weeb
Japs
are you,
manage it.
Nate? Jesus Christ.
Michelle insisted she wanted a Japanese table, so I bought it for her for her
God.
birthday.
You're both
Oh, do you have
degenerates.
the what's it called, the mat, the no, wait, not the mat, the cushions, it's the heater, the thing.
A futon. We do
Yes.
not have a what's it called? The thing they sit under. No, we don't have that. Look, we're
Aw.
not that deep into this. It's just a low table.
Oh, but you could.
Okay. Just sitting at your
With
Japanese table
cushions.
eating your Japanese curry.
But it's not my
while
fault.
you speak the
Chopsticks.
Japanese tongue and make videos about the Japanese anime and record your
Yeah,
Japanese
people have been
manga
mocking me lately
podcasts.
for my less than fluent understanding of the Japanese language, and you know what? Fair. I've, I'm not the best. Anyway, I've been actually cooking. It's been curry. It's been the taste that I've been seeking in my life,
I'm
and
really
I brought
happy
it
for
back
you.
through my own effort. Yeah, thank you, Mage. It feels great, and I'm gonna go buy like 20 more fucking packs so I can keep making curry every damn day. It's been a revolution.
Was
It's
this
incredible. I
inspired
love
by
it so
playing
much.
Pokemon, or was this completely coincidental?
It was
Wait, why
completely
are you guys
coincidental.
saying, what does Pokemon
The new
have to do with it? I don't
Pokemon,
get
instead
it.
of puffins, they have curries. You make curries to feed your Pokemon when you
Yeah.
do camps. So
Oh, got it.
Indeed,
Okay.
indeed.
Yeah. Hence Brit Bong thing.
You know, I'm trying to think. I don't know exactly what inspired it or made me think of it. I guess we just had rice, and I was like, "What should I put on this rice? Curry, maybe? I don't know."
Wow.
Gotta
Interesting.
remember.
reenact that
I
scene
remember.
from Fooly Cooley where they eat the really hot curry.
Oh yeah. You know what? Like Indian curry is like spicy. This shit's not spicy at all.
I
it's
don't
like
like spicy.
it's like cinnamon flavor kind of.
what?
And
It's
so
like
delicious.
sweet curry. Interesting.
It's not. It just has like elements of that. It's still I don't know
Cinnamon
curry
isn't
flavor, whatever
sweet.
that is. Well, I know it's just got like
Cinnamon
notes.
feels
No,
of it
it's
or
just
something.
like to Tom, like
I guess my brain
Immediately
immediately
assumed
went
it's-
sweet
yeah.
when you said cinnamon for some
I
reason.
think as
a lot of
Americans
curries
we
have-
associate it. Yeah.
I think like cinnamon gets put with a lot of sweet
It
things
does.
because it works.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, shit.
Hmm.
Now I'm
Well, there you go.
hungry.
Life
Thanks.
update.
All right.
You're welcome.
All right.
I'm cooking more.
That's pretty
Feels
cool.
good.
Well, I got a story for you
Sure.
this week.
Yes.
I'm having a shit week so far.
aw.
I did some hard drugs.
Oh no.
I did some hard drugs. I
No,
did some real
Ben.
shit. Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it
yeah.
PCP?
No, I did
Which
Molly.
one of us is going to do it first? Someone has to eventually at some point.
No,
What
no,
is- what's Molly?
I
What
did
is
Molly,
that?
and it sucked.
I believe you.
It's what they call marijuana.
I don't know. Maybe Molly is slang for oh god, an illegal
Ecstasy.
street drug. Oh, I guess it's
Oh, no.
I guess it's MDMA. Commonly known as
Joe Rogan says I should do that daily or something.
Commonly,
So
no, that's
Sounds good.
MMA. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
commonly known as ecstasy. Okay, so I guess I did ecstasy. It wasn't even good. I didn't even like it.
okay, okay. You wanna describe
and
the
I
sensation,
just made a fool
perhaps?
of myself and embarrassed myself and felt bad about it. The
So it was
next
just a
day.
normal day.
Still do it. Yeah, pretty much. Well, I went to my friend invited me out to a thing of just like a bunch of guys sitting around someone's house, just like fucking around, drinking
Sick.
and whatever, smoking
Uh-huh.
weed, vaping. I don't personally smoke weed, so I didn't do that, but whatever.
Mhm.
Just drank a bunch of hard seltzers, you know, like my
Sick.
man Baby Yoda. You guys see that Baby Yoda holding a White Claw tattoo?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
tattoo,
Wait,
no,
I've not
but I
seen
can
a
imagine
tattoo
it.
of it. What the fuck?
A tattoo of Baby Yoda holding a White Claw seltzer.
That
And-
is culture
and then-
in a nutshell,
and then
right
someone on oh god, someone got that tattoo, and then oh fuck, it's one of the shit. Is it one of the guys on Cumtown or one of the guys on Chapo Trap House or
there. Mhm.
some podcast, some like Twitch streamer collective? Like one of them just like pretended it was his, and
Ah,
like
okay.
all his friends, people. There's a big joke. It's like, oh yeah, this guy on this podcast, like he totally got that. He looks so great with his new Baby Yoda holding a White Claw seltzer tattoo, and the guy with the real tattoo is like really mad that this guy is like stolen his thunder.
Now that's stolen valor, right
he
there
had a
is what that
chance to
is.
dodge this bullet, and he's not. What a fool.
Could have pretended never happened, but no. No.
Okay, but anyway, so we're there, and then like one of these guys, and this guy, he's got long hair. He wears a beanie, so you know he's a
Uh-oh.
you know the type. You know the type.
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm.
a few hard seltzers in at this point. So,
Right.
and he's just like, "Hey, dudes, whoa," or something. I forget what he says, and he drops these two like bright green pills on the table, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?"
Mhm.
And he's like, "It's Molly," and I'm like, and I think back when I lived in California. I lived with a guy, and one day him and his girlfriend did Molly, and I saw them
Mhm.
later. And all it did, the guy was just really smiley. He just seemed like he was like super happy, and he just
Mhm.
kept telling his girlfriend how cute her babies would be. And I was like, that seems pretty fun.
Unrelated to him, I assume. But perhaps to the
yeah,
mole.
yeah. So I was like, that seems fine. And I was,
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, guys, how much is this gonna fuck me up? And they're like, okay, just take half. If you've never done it before, just take half. And I'm like, okay, great
Okay.
compromise. So I take half. Anyway, shouldn't have done it. It was a nightmare. What was bad about it is that I felt at all times like I was perfectly in control of myself. It didn't feel weird. I mean, I guess I felt kind of like warm and tingly, but I didn't feel like I was high or fucked up. But at the same time, I could tell from the reactions of people's around me that was absolutely not the case.
Right.
And I was being super weird. I walked home. Okay, people told me a bunch of different things. People told me that I kept asking the same questions over and over again. Like I would get an answer and then I would ask the same thing like a minute later. Someone else told me that apparently like all night I was like stomping around the kitchen. I was like stomping around the kitchen talking to myself. Apparently I would walk to the fridge, open the refrigerator, look inside, say vile, close the fridge, like do it and then like do it again on loop.
As a post-food boy, that's my general experience.
I honestly, I would believe you do.
Yeah, that I can
sounds
picture
so
that
me.
perfectly.
That sounds so me.
None of this is keto.
Someone else told me that I like alternated between cackling and weeping, which also sounds totally me, but like in a very embarrassing and shitty way. Eventually, one of my friends like fucking yelled at me like, "Go fuck to bed!" Like, "Fuck you! I have work in the morning."
Sure.
And I'm sure, even at the time, I was like, "Okay, obviously, I'm acting like a fucking moron and I'm being obnoxious." I feel terrible. But wait, there was one more thing. There was like okay, the worst thing about it was in the middle of it, right? Like at 4 in the fucking morning, I am just like stomping around, presumably, thinking like I'm a perfectly cogent actor at the moment. And I'm like, hey, we live in a neighborhood, and I don't know my neighbors. Why don't I introduce myself to my neighbor?
And what time was this?
Like 4 in the morning.
Okay.
So I just walked to the.
4 in the morning, and I'm zoning to say I'm possessed.
So
Like the Romans, I keep it 300.
I walk to the neighbor's house and I just go up to their porch and I just knock on their door. And I'm just like I'm just like standing there, like, yeah, just gonna say hi. I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. I live next door. What a great time.
Yeah.
But one of my roommates sees me, like from his window, I think, and he like comes out and gets me and is like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Oof.
It was miserable. It was totally
That's
miserable.
one of those things
And then
that
I
under
think-
normal circumstances in a normal time of day is a perfectly nice thing to do. But
Yeah.
given this
I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand. And then
I see.
the next day, so yesterday, they came and they knocked on my door and they were like, was someone knocking on our door yesterday? And I had to be like, I'm sorry, that was me. I was high.
Yeah.
I thought it would make sense. I apologize. I won't do it again. And there was a guy and a girl, and the girl was just like making a very concerned face, like, okay, and the guy behind her was like, yeah, man, I get you.
That's good.
All right, sweet. At least it always
We've
makes
all
sense
been there,
at the
my
time.
dude. We've
We've
all
all
been
been there,
there.
my dude. So at least one of them got it, so it's fine.
That's good. That's good.
And that's
So
how I
we're
got
not
the
perceived as a
50%
threat
of my
anymore, it
neighbors to
seems.
like me.
So that was my weekend.
Have you felt since, like physically?
I was
Any-
kind of hungover the next day, but I think it was just because of drink, and it wasn't even that bad. I didn't even have a headache or anything.
Yeah,
All
okay.
told, it was pretty. I mean, I just felt morally. Like morally bad, morally hungover.
Be careful, Ben. The moral high ground's all you have left at this
Yeah.
state of the game. So
Because
careful.
because I had annoyed and been a nuisance to all my roommates and shit. So
Right,
that sucks.
right.
I still
It
have to
happens.
I still have to apologize to a few of them.
like you came on Discord, presumably right after.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh Jesus, why did I do that? I'm such a fucking loser.
What happened? What happened?
And well, he just came on and explained that, and I was there and I was talking to him, and I realized that he was
Yeah.
still high.
Oh, I
so
was
just
still
sort of, like,
I was still high as balls.
yeah. But like now I'm thinking about, you didn't mention, because obviously you weren't like you didn't know all the facts at the time, but you may have been like standing out front of their door, like knocking repeatedly over and over again in a loop.
No, that was inside. I had already come inside at that point, I think.
No, I mean not like afterwards, like you were talking on Discord, but like when you went to knock on the neighbor's door, like if you were doing other things in a loop, maybe you knocked on their door for like 10 minutes
I might have done it multiple times. A lot of it is a blur.
Shit.
Fair enough.
So, you know.
That's pretty epic, by the way.
The thing about it is like what's annoying about it is that it was a shitty trip because I didn't even realize I was high at the time. I didn't feel like I was doing anything weird. It felt normal. And like, what's the point of that? What's the point if you
Sounds
feel
like
normal?
all downsides to me.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. Not the best. Whatever.
I mean, now I suppose you know your neighbor, and one of them at least thinks
Not
you're not
really.
the
It's
worst
just like
guy.
it's like an
now
ignorance.
They know that
simulator.
I'm a fucking weirdo.
Well, yeah. Well, that was inevitable, I suppose,
And that's
unless they
it.
just never met you.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
So
I
I guess
Be
so.
known as the Molly Knocker.
I'm saying audience do Molly, I guess. Ooh, yeah.
Catchy.
Not bad. An urban legend.
Incredible.
This fucking the legends tell of a guy who at 4 a.m. was be like, "Hey, I'm your neighbor. How's it going?" It sucks because I've been thinking like I should introduce myself to my neighbors. Maybe I should like get a pie, like bring a pie over or something. Be like,
Yeah,
"Hi, what's up?"
yeah.
Well, now I've fucking blown it.
I don't think that's necessary. I think where there's a will, like, okay, is this a problem, just theoretically, to examine if one could perhaps make any kind of way to be, like, positively know your neighbors? Like, is it potentially possible? Yes. Would it take perhaps more effort than it would have from the start? That's possible. That's possible.
Now it's gonna take 2 pies.
It might take two. It might take two.
They might be worried about what's in the pies at this point.
Get a store-bought pie and still sealed up.
Have it sealed, yeah. They'll notice a few syringe holes in the side as they're opening it up.
So that's my
There was,
fucking weekend story.
That what do they call it? That like curve or whatever, where there's a certain time when you, like, I just had a neighbor, one of the neighbors in the house I live in. He moved out recently. I had a handful of exchanges with that guy, and the vast majority of them were as I was moving in, because I just was outside the most, and inevitably he like couldn't help but interact with me a little bit as he went into his place or whatever. I was moving my shit in. Like, since then, we've exchanged like maybe a dozen words, and then after like over a year of living here, he moved away, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. I think he was like a military guy. He was like Asian or something, and frequently I would see him playing his computer, I think World of Warcraft, late into the evening, and also, so he wasn't a total loser. I don't know, maybe like once a month or whatever, he would bring like a bunch of friends into like this little like kind of glass, kind of like a little, I don't know, like a little glassed in area that kind of stuck out of his apartment, which was a nice area. He would sit there with a bunch of friends, and they would all play board games together. And I thought
that's
many
neat.
times, it is neat. I thought I should just go down to that guy, knock at his door, say like, "Hey, dude, couldn't help but notice you would play games or something. How'd you feel about like me and Michelle? I don't know, like bringing a pie and just hanging out? Because I don't know, we don't know you guys.
Like
That'd
I've
be
seen
fun."
our neighbors like through their like we see them play Smash Bros and stuff.
Yeah,
They just seem like dudes, like of like similar age to like the people that live in this house. We could probably
Indeed.
hang out if we
Indeed.
wanted to. We just nobody does.
We're just all cowards these days, and we're too stuck on our Amazon Prime machines.
We're too
and
busy on our
It's-
Samsung Galaxies
I mean-
playing Pokemon Go.
I mean, on the one hand, like, cowardice, but on the other hand, we can speak to people through a wire, so we don't need to go outside to talk. Like, if we're lonely, we could just have a chat with
I
a
think there
person.
are important things that you get through a face-to-face interaction that cannot be replicated through a digital
It is
one.
true.
the
It is
lesser-
true, but it's
Totally
hard.
true.
It's hard to feel that when
That's
there's
true.
like
That's
some
true.
reason for you to stay inside compared to.
It's kind of like the
outside.
same
Well,
thing.
you don't
like,
you
is
don't
it-
need courage when you have fucking Molly.
Liquid
Okay,
courage?
so pop
Yeah,
some
yeah.
pills and go say hi to your to your fellow man. I guess.
I think of these things, and I would encourage others to think of it as well, as like socialization in general is very much like exercise. It's something that doesn't exactly feel good to start to do, but once you've got going, and especially after you've done it, you feel really good about it, and it's definitely
Yeah.
good for you. So, I should do more, for sure. I should have done with that guy. He moved away, whatever. I guarantee there will be a million other chances in my life to, say hi to a neighbor or something. But, I live in a really poor neighborhood right now, so he was kind of the only one that I was even thinking of doing that with. So, I don't interact with the poors, you know me.
No.
So, I would never.
No,
gonna
no
be one of
value
them
to
before
extract there.
No, sir.
Uh,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about crochet.
Please do.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I saw you
so-
did the thing. Oh, yes. Talk about
Yes.
it.
So last year I was getting into crochet and I was crocheting a few things and it was really nothing. It was I had this Christmas gift from a while ago which was like a Star Wars Yoda crochet Christmas gift.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, no, it was
Oh.
pre baby Yoda, pre baby Groot.
Okay.
And I didn't want to make a Yoda, so I just used the yarn to make whatever. And I discovered that I like crochet. The book that it came with was too hard to follow, so I looked at YouTube tutorials, obviously really, much better. And I learned how to do a basic crochet, and I made it like an arm bracelet, which I gave to Munchie,
Right.
which he still has, and that's cool.
Let's
But
see.
I asked for some yarn for that Christmas, and then I didn't use it. It's just been sitting on my desk, balls of yarn,
Mhm.
and I was like, finally, just decided to start using it again, and it's really fun. I'm not really doing anything. I posted on Twitter. I made a big rectangle, which is basically just a repetitive task, making a crochet in a line and then turning around and going the other way and just going this way and that way.
Sure.
And I made a rectangle, and it was cool, and I can
Oh.
use it to put pins on. So now
I
I have
see,
a
I
place for my
see.
pin collection.
It's the
Good.
Pooba. It's Pooba pin.
Yeah, put
Oh,
them all on there.
Dude, speaking of pins, I think my fucking heart pins are due to arrive any day now.
Fuck
Oh,
yeah.
I'm fucking juiced.
What about the other pins? Did you already have the book ones?
I
The,
already have the book pins
Oh,
and,
okay.
and the Pooba pins. I've got enough left over from the last one. I didn't have to order anymore.
Oh, okay.
But
Miraculously.
yeah, and I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
like, the stereotype is like grandma knitting like Christmas sweaters for all of her grandkids, and they hate them
True.
because they suck. I'm not really into like knitting, entire sweaters yet. Also, it'll take a while.
Yeah.
But I am thinking like I could maybe knit. Like this is really gay. This is really really gay, guys. But I'm thinking of knitting like clothes for like the Vriska and Punk plush that I have. Like a little,
Well, why not?
jersey,
No, but
and
that's
or
really-
like little mittens or something, just as a little project.
He is kind of gay.
It is kind of gay.
No,
It's
no,
pretty sick.
no,
Do
it's
it.
precious. Do
It's
it.
precious, but like that's not a good look. Or,
That's not
like
good
for a
enough.
man. I'd get
Who
fucking
cares?
crucified.
No.
I mean, I'm about results. So like, if knitting is the fastest and most efficient way to achieve whatever ends you're looking for, in this case, I guess to obtain highly specific cloth goods, then like I would say
I mean,
absolutely
yeah.
go for it. It's the only thing that makes sense.
I am
never
thinking
learned how to
like
crochet.
eventually I want to be. I was like making this rectangle, and I was learning a few basic crochets, like the crochet. The half double crochet, which is cool, the double crochet, which is even cooler, and then the triple crochet, which is a little bit too far. And I was doing those, and I was like, okay, this has been pretty good. I want to learn some new patterns. I want to learn something that isn't just a rectangle, something that's slightly more complex. And I looked on YouTube, online, found a bunch of things, but there was like this one blog. I mean, all these blogs, they're all very feminine, very gay, very girly, very pink, and very pointless. There was so much of like stupid shit that no one would ever need.
Is it like how when you look up a recipe, every fucking recipe you find is preceded by like 14 paragraphs of like some wine mom explaining about how she was
it is
struck for
definitely-
inspiration for this thing, like while she was like
It is definitely
hiking
like
in the Alps or something.
white middle class wine mom crochet is like they've got the market corner. There's no cool crochet guys. I could be the only
We'll have
man
to be the
who
first,
does
yeah.
Untapped
crochet.
market. Get in on it.
I want to make
Indeed.
I want to like use the white yarn I have and make a skull, a 3D skull, and that's gonna be
Ooh,
really
yeah.
difficult. But like, there's no fucking plans like that I can blueprints for a skull I can find. I can make like a mermaid dress for a baby, but I don't want to do that. That's a stupid idea. Babies want to
Right.
eat stuff. They want to They want to put plastic in their mouths and throw it. That's what they want. You don't make them yarn. Well, like a blanket would be nice.
It'd be cool to make the skull and then like have that like plan available to others who are similarly
You
predisposed
can make
to want
you can
to,
make
you know.
little hats for babies if you want. If you want to make something for
Fuck
kids.
babies. Nobody likes babies. They should all die and burn and, you know.
I don't
hell.
know any
I
babies
appreciate
personally.
this mentality
Children.
and agree with it.
But yeah, like the next step, I guess, is like finding baby clothes, but just making them like fit the plushies I have, which is again really gay. I don't.
Right,
I want
right.
to stress that I know how gay this is. I just like crocheting, so I don't care.
Okay. Well, makes sense to me.
That's like
Christian
not gay at all.
isn't-
That's the opposite of gay. Like, I'm gonna do it. Fuck what everyone else thinks. That's big
Yeah.
dick energy. Go
Yeah.
for it. Make it happen.
I think if you want the final product, then it
Mm.
only makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally
Yep.
totally reasonable.
Eventually, I may be at a point where like I like it enough and I'm good at it enough to like be an Etsy boy and do
Ho-ho.
like Etsy things.
Sure.
Like, hey,
Sure.
I'll make like obscure, weird, masculine things, but in crochet form if you want, instead of like gay bears and smiley faces that like everyone else does. I'll make a skull for you. I'll do that and ship it to you, and you'll.
I'll
have a
make
skull.
a skull cozy for your Dan Aykroyd's Crystal Skull vodka.
I'll make a fucking coffin for you.
Why not? A coffin cozy for my deceased baby, who Nate aforementionedly was going to incinerate, and you
And
know,
stuff.
makes sense.
No.
Just
Continue.
providing a service people need here, Mage.
An
That's
urn.
all.
Well, if you're gonna incinerate it, an urn cozy would probably.
An
you know, you're
cozy.
right. Much simpler design.
Yeah. Let's not be.
You know,
hasty.
on the subject of the masculinity of such activities, it sounds to me like at least part of the inspiration here seems to be that like the sheer enjoyment of kind of having a repetitive task is
Yeah.
kind of relaxing.
I
or
don't
enjoyable.
have that much time to do a lot of repetitive tasks, but
Mhm.
you know, because it's like I'm either drawing or I'm writing.
Mhm.
When I'm listening to something that I could turn my brain off at.
Right. Right.
Which is why I had to stop yarn for a bit, and I want to get back into it, to do some sort of pattern. But it is very nice. It's like it takes a while, which is kind of the toughest thing about it, because you
Sure.
need time. Obviously, there's lots of content. There's lots of content, and there's podcasts that I can listen to for that. But it's like an issue of like time in the day.
Right, you have to dedicate that time to doing that thing, even if you
'cause
have plenty to listen to.
It's
Yeah.
hard to like do any other, like obviously your hands are being used up, but I can't even really think of like my own projects because that's like strenuous. So I have to just sort of veg out
Yeah,
and do
yeah.
yarn for a whole day, and it's
I know
fun.
what you mean. It kind of reminds me of. I just think of like. I mean, I'm a capital G gamer, and there's nothing more masculine than that. But after a hard gaming sesh, I mean, what do I have to show for it? Only the
You got some
sweat on
sick
my
trophies
brow.
on your Xbox Live.
Yeah, that's the thing, and there's nothing more masculine than that. Indeed.
Dude, I'll make a PS4 cozy for you, so that it
That
can
sounds
warm up
great.
and overheat.
So it'll overheat. Yeah, it's just make a CPU cozy for me, so it can get way overheated and burn up while I'm playing Burnout Paradise. Overclocked. Hey, you know what? Oh yeah, go on.
Speaking of video games, are you going to talk about Crisis Cringe?
Okay, well, you
game
cross
playing?
code this game I've been
Yeah.
enjoying so much.
You
I mean,
already
I could
talked about
say,
it.
yeah, I talked about it last time. It's still going
Okay.
strong. Recommended for everybody. But that's it.
Same for me with Divinity Original Sin 2. Also, still
Mm-hmm.
playing, still fun. I had to restart the game. Now, instead of 8 buckets, I had 16. So,
There you go.
Buckets of blood.
yeah, and I'm still going. I still gathered buckets. Sadly, I had to sell some of them off because they were taking up inventory. But I still keep gathering
Rip.
them.
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, and you, Gabe, have been playing your own big old video
Yes,
game that's been obsessively.
I've been I finished the yarn and then I immediately filled my time with some other bullshit, which was a video game called Ni no Kuni 2: Revenant Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh, don't try not to spoil because I'm gonna play it as soon as I'm done with the
Okay.
first one.
Yeah, they are not related story-wise whatsoever, as far as I understand. So, but I won't spoil any of the story. But the basic gist of this is that it's like an RPG about a little boy prince who is overthrown his kingdom, his cat kingdom. He's a cat boy and there are cat people. There's a lot of furries in this game.
Uh-oh.
They're all very nicely drawn and 3D rendered, so it's not like gross or anything.
So it's totally cool. Sick.
Yeah, so it's totally cool. They're all smooth. There's no like fur physics involved. It's
Thank
great.
God.
This prince was like attacked. His kingdom was attacked, and he was thrown out, where he had to run away. And in it, he wants to try and get back his kingdom, but he can't like do anything by himself because he's all on his own. And so he has to try and build a kingdom himself with the intent of like, because he's born to rule in it literally because he's a prince and he's like, I'm gonna be
Born
a king.
to rule, world is fuck.
I'm gonna be a king
10,000
to-
dead cops. Right,
Yeah.
understood.
And your mission or your quest is about building a kingdom and then uniting the kingdoms together in peace. And it's beyond that is a very basic RPG plot.
In
with
It's
some
a
peace
villains.
cultural
through
victory of
war.
civilization.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And so it's a good game. I'm trying to think of. Well, I'll just talk about gameplay. It's action RPG. You run around and you see monsters in the field. There's like the world map is your tiny chibi people, and you run around. You see them, and then you see the monsters. You run into them. You can run away from them, and then there's in 3D.
Whoa.
Can you still recruit the monsters, or did they get rid of that?
You can't recruit monsters. The whole thing is the monsters are, just monsters. You kill them, but you recruit people in villages and towns for your kingdom. That is its own like mini game, large part of the game, but like mini game thing. So it's a town building game where you have king's guilders, which is like currency for spending on building projects and fortifications and army stuff, and research on new technologies, so that like if you get your if you want like a specific character to have a really powerful ranged weapon, you research ranged weapon stuff upgrades in your armory weapon shop, and then you can go shop there and you can buy it. And it's really
So you have to
fun.
put in resources to research a thing, and then you don't even get it. You have to buy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. That's how games
The people
go.
should probably be aware as well. It's by Level 5 who made Dark Cloud and whatnot back in the
Yes.
day, which is pretty
Yes,
neato.
I was speaking about this to Nate a few days ago. It feels a lot like Dark Cloud 3 because there's the whole dungeon crawling or monster slashing action stuff. What is it called? It's like action RPG where you run and roll and dodge and you press the buttons in real time and it's fun.
I guess action RPG is the best one we got for that. Dark
Yeah.
Souls-esque, perhaps?
It's like Kingdom Hearts and Dark Souls and a little bit of Okami.
It's
and,
turn-based, isn't
It's
it?
the Dark Souls
No, it's
of
not
Kingdom
turn-based.
Hearts.
Oh, it's
It
not.
is. It is real time action RPG. You run around.
Oh, right,
you
like
have-
the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, you kill, and you gain power. And then
That's what I like to hear.
That's all I needed to hear.
I mean, yeah,
But the thing that I really like,
it's got
I
the
mean,
endorsement.
there's all the different nations. There's this ocean nation where everybody's a blue fish person. And a lot of the blue fish ladies also have red hair, so Undyne is in this game.
Oh,
This is my
excellent.
favorite Undertale.
Damn.
Now
So,
we're talking.
And you can recruit a few Undynes to add to your army and your kingdom, and they all have different skills. Some of them are good at, spell stuff. Others are good at weapon things, and there's loads of different buildings you can get, and then you upgrade your kingdom. It starts as a little sort of rustic wooden
Gesundheit.
sort of
Thank you.
a rustic wooden like Viking town hall thing with
Yeah.
a few tents, and then you upgrade it to level 2 and it's got walls and there are buildings with bricks, and then the music changes and it's more bombastic, and then level 3 it's like a huge sprawling thing. You've got a shipyard, you've got this and then that, and then the music is even more bombastic, and level 4 is just around the corner.
So basically,
it
you
sounds
lose
like a
your kingdom, you make a new kingdom.
You make a new kingdom, and then, God, I don't want to spoil, but there's a really cool thing with what happens with the guy who overthrows you, because the choices are make peace with him or go to war with him, and it's like, ooh, what's gonna happen?
Wait,
It's
what
quite
game is
interesting.
this?
Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom.
Yeah. It's on Steam.
It's sounds like a very satisfying gameplay loop.
It is a very satisfying gameplay loop. I haven't
Yeah.
explained it the best because I didn't.
Some of
think
these things
about
are hard
it
to just know through
I just
hearing
wanted
anyway.
to look
Yeah.
up some images so I can.
Yeah,
have
look at trailer footage. The thing that really got me into it was like
Why does it look like Ghibli?
I think it's a lot of Ghibli people. The
Give
guy
me
who does
one
a lot of
good reason why it looks like a fucking Ghibli.
because Ghibli people are involved. The guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the guy who does most of the Ghibli music soundtracks does the soundtrack for this game, and it's very nice. The art direction is really good, and it has art direction, which you can't say for every game. Some games they just want to be like, let's put a lens flare in there, and I hate it. I turn it off immediately. This game has bright colors, beautiful designs of things. The one thing I would say is that the story is a bit basic and like baby's first RPG. The bad guy is just bad, and you go and kill, and it's simplistic. There's not a lot of like hard questions being asked about the politics of like starting a kingdom in a place and disposing like bandits who used to live there but you
Is
know,
it
it's fine.
whimsical? Because I really love the first one because it was so whimsical
is-
and there's so many puns and stuff, and I love it.
I've heard it is whimsical. It's funny and cute, and it's very wholesome. It's a very, very wholesome feeling thing the whole
Oh,
way
I'm
through.
glad.
I
I want to play it now.
I have heard a little bit that there are, maybe due to the scope of like the amount of people, there's a load of side quests to get people in your kingdom. I don't know for what reason, but people have said that the first game has a lot of cutscenes and a lot of writing prowess. That's a lot really, you really care about the characters a lot, and the story is good.
Sure.
Ni no Kuni 2, people say it sort of falters in the story department and the characterization, and there's not that many cutscenes. There's a few big ones at the beginning, and apparently some at the end. I haven't beaten it yet. But most of like the story stuff is like characters standing around talking in text, which I don't mind personally because like I'm used to old games where fully voice acted stuff was just not a thing, so I still like that.
Right. I mean, these days, a lot of that can be more trouble than it's worth and be more of a downside than anything if it, like, stops you in your tracks to watch a cutscene that's so good. I don't know. So it depends.
I mean, yeah,
it's good or bad.
it's not like a terrible thing. Like, I didn't know that the first game had better writing, and I was perfectly satisfied with what I had been experiencing, so it's a good time.
Yeah, just
like
because
this-
something is supposedly better doesn't mean the other thing is bad.
No,
I
no.
like this little Lisa Simpson ass bitch.
Oh yeah, I kept calling him Lisa Simpson. He's the kingmaker. every
Post it,
every-
man. I don't know what you're talking
every
about.
him-
It's the cute animal sidekick is like a spiky headed
Yeah.
like yellow blowfish thing in like a red robe, and it's literally Lisa Simpson.
it looks
Okay, I believe you, but
Yeah.
paste
Link?
it in the damn
Yeah.
chat.
All right, fine.
that guy's called Lofty, and he is the kingmaker of young Evan. Every king has to have a kingmaker in order to be recognized as such. And so there's like every kingdom has their kingmaker, and they're huge, massive, grandiose beasts. And then Evan gets this tiny little Lisa Simpson guy who has like a Welsh accent, like a very strong Welsh accent, and it's kind of hard to
Sick.
like parse some of the text because they do a lot of like English accents in like phonetically written, and his
Right,
Welsh
right.
stuff is a bit hard to parse sometimes. And there's these very up north, like Manchester sort of characters who are like shipwrights, and it's kind of impossible to tell what they're saying. You have to really go over it. Like, oh, okay, you're just saying thanks.
You ever play Poacher?
What's that?
It's one of the games that Yahtzee made, and it's
Ryan.
well, it's the only one that I have any interest in playing because it's a Metroidvania and not like some weird adventure thing. And it's super good, and it just reminds that like the guy you play as is like this like hunter guy who's up north, and like he speaks in like such a fucking thick ass accent that like other people can't understand him, but he's really funny. That's a really fucking good game, by the way, and it's free.
Ooh, cool. It's free.
I wonder what Metacritic thinks of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of accents and voice acting and stuff, Divinity Original Sin and Original Sin 2, I haven't fully played the first one. I only played a little bit of it, but I got distracted by the fact I could be a bush, and I just walked around being a bush. I a while, and then I became a rock and then a box. It's a good game, I swear.
Sick.
But like the thing about the games, they're very much voice acted. Even like the little animals that you might not be able to ever speak to ever if you don't take the skill pet talk or something like that. They're also fully voice acted, and it's just amazing how much work they put into this game. And it doesn't feel like they had to restrict themselves due to the fact that they had to voice act things. The main character is mute, so main character isn't voice acted. But other than that, I think like every single thing has a voice to it, and it's really cool. And it's very British accent-y, so neat.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, actually.
It's such a good game.
Speaking of game development and Yahtzee, this just reminds me of one other thing I was going to mention this episode, which is just so the game development PCP bonus episode came out beginning of the month or whatever. So you should go listen to that. But now that a time period has elapsed, because I put effort into this, I want to do this. One of the things we talked about that I brought up on that was this demo of this game I made with my friend Janos, this Music Jumper demo featuring QT Bass Drop, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I was so proud that because while we were recording that, I didn't have a working demo, and I tried to find it. After that episode ended, I found the code, and I attempted to get it to work. It didn't work. I had to actually dig in and fix some broken things in order to get an exported working executable for the game. And I did that, and I exported it, and now like the one level you can play actually works, and I linked that in that episode. And I was just so proud of myself for figuring that out and getting it working. It didn't take me long, but I had to put some effort in that I wanted everybody to play it and see the cute girl QT bass drop in there. So a link in the description to the extremely short demo of that game by me and my buddy Janos, but hopefully you will enjoy. Indeed. Very proud,
cool.
very strong, very
I'll
powerful.
check that out.
Me.
I'm curious.
It's good.
Speaking of the
Play for
video
30
games,
seconds.
speaking of video games, I've been playing, or I played briefly yesterday after seeing it on Twitter a bunch of the time. Any of you seen the talkings about AI Dungeon 2?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so AI Dungeon 2 has been popping up all over like my game dev Twitter, because that's the people I follow. I guess so. You guys are aware of text RPGs, that ye old classic genre where you just type commands and you play the RPG, with no
I know text-based adventure games. Or is
Yeah,
it like
like
that
that-
plus like HP and stuff?
well, just like a text-based adventure game.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like that oft neglected genre.
Yeah.
So some guy, I guess, decided I'm going to combine that style of game with AI. So it just randomly generates an adventure, and it'll accept any command you type in just in normal English, and will parse it and try and continue the story based on it. And so it has like an infinite number of like scenarios and stuff, and it just generates.
So I assume
something.
it uses AI to like figure out what you're saying, and
Yes.
like your mileage perhaps may vary based on the
Correct.
strengths and weaknesses.
And
Okay.
I guess you can choose the genre of style adventure you want from a couple options in the beginning.
Okay.
It recommends fantasy. I'm assuming probably because that's the one it's the most competent in. But you can also do like post-apocalyptic and things like that, like different, or like a mystery. I haven't delved too deeply into it, but I was interested because it's like starting to address something I've always kind of dreamed about games. Because like if you watch the video that I did a long time ago on the PCP responding to Ben about why D&D is so cool,
Right.
the idea I was saying is that tabletop allows you to do anything, because you have another human being to listen to what you're doing. And I've always wondered, when is technology going to get good enough that video games will be able to do something similar, no longer constrained by a particular rule set.
I've
And
been
this is
dreaming
like
about that as well. I just
your
it's
first
such a cool
step
idea.
towards that is this game. Like that's kind of like how it's pitched, is that you can
I'm
say
honestly
whatever
excited.
you want. And
Okay.
so I played a little bit of it yesterday before I went to
This
bed.
is called
just 'cause I was
AI
curious.
Dungeons.
AI Dungeon, yeah.
Two seconds.
So
AI
I
Dungeon
can
2.
find a link for it. I don't have it on hand because I'm playing it on my laptop, and it works to a degree. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's probably because a lot of what I was doing, I was trying to like push the engine and see how far it works. So instead of like typing
Good. I'm glad you did. I'm curious.
commands, like because the situation I got, I was talking to some guy outside of a bandit camp, and I was just speaking in English, like in response to the queries, as opposed to trying to talk as you would in a traditional text adventure game. And there were a couple like kind of like assumptions it made about what I was saying, but like the game continued regardless of whatever I said. So it's interesting, and I definitely want to play around with it more. I was thinking maybe doing an IM Games video on it, just because I think the concept is so novel. And
It's
like there
currently
are
down
cool
due to
people
high
interested in
download
it.
costs, sadly, so we cannot play it at this very moment.
Any highlights from your experience during it? Notable experiences it gave you or anything?
I guess, I mean, I didn't get super far into it, so I can't say like I have a breadth of experience of the game. But just the fact that like it's so approachable, you know, like there's nothing to learn. There's no like it's just like you speak English and the game responds, and it's still like a lot to go, I guess, to make it like truly natural. But I think this will be an interesting starting off point, because like if you can get to a point where you can have an AI basically DM a game for you, it opens up a lot of possibilities, even if it's just like a behind the scenes thing in a more traditional game. So yeah, it's
That's
pretty
definitely
cool.
true. And I mean, one of the I mean, I'm sure, of course, you're aware, but it's like the main issue of like when you can play a game with another human, they have like all their the mind is a powerful machine for coming up with information and stuff. I mean, I think humans are just robots, but really advanced robots that do this stuff really well. And like we've got definitely a long way to go before a machine is capable of handling things to the same degree of flexibility that your human mind on average is able to. But yeah, I mean, any step forward sounds like a cool one. So I would be fascinated to hear if other people have played as well with their experiences.
Nobody's safe from the robots taking over. Even DM.
Right, there's
Not
gonna
even
be
our
this,
video
this small
games.
window of time in between where we are right now when the robots kill us all, that we'll have perfect video games, and we'll all have to just like really enjoy that brief window.
I heard
Can't wait.
like there was a line I heard something about perfect video games, like perfect entertainment the other day. I don't know, it was like some dystopian line about once we have like perfect video games, there's no point in doing anything anymore. Because I mean, what is a perfect video game except like an infinite pleasure machine, I guess, basically. So yeah, we're all fucked when we get there, but in the meantime, keep it tight, lads. Keep going to the gym. But by the way, while I was Googling AI Dungeon 2, it brought me to like a Kotaku article about it. And then from there, I saw linked another Kotaku article that I think you guys should definitely take a look at. And I'm a little distrustful of Kotaku generally, but I had heard about this elsewhere, so I think this is accurate. And okay, take a look at this. The article title is "Vaping Congressman Who Spent Campaign Funds on Steam Games Resigns." Okay, so this guy,
Ben, I didn't know you were a member of Congress.
Oh, who is this
yeah, and,
guy?
I thought vaping wasn't a crime.
Fuck,
What
he's
happened?
Fuck this guy. He's a Republican. That's not
Okay, he is a
cool.
Republican from California, and listen to this. He misused apparently $250,000 in campaign funds, including out of that $1,528 spent on Steam games. Now that's not a massive amount of money, but it is a sizable amount of money to spend on games on
It
Steam.
is a massive
and,
amount to spend on Steam games. How many
Yeah,
people
that's so many
spend that
fucking
much?
games.
Even
I mean,
if
the-
you
the
take
The
it-
question
in
is,
the
did he
scale- in the
spend that
scope of-
during a
You
Steam
should have waited
sale
for
or no?
sales.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
if
less
it's a
than
should've
Steam
waited for
1%.
sale, that's a fuck ton of games.
That's less than 1% of the total amount that was misused.
It is. See, they're a little bit exaggerating, like gamer guy, but I mean, he definitely is into video games. If you spent that much, I'm curious where he spent the rest of it. Probably on like I don't know, houses and travel and I don't know, fucking
actual
hookers.
stuff,
Who knows?
yeah.
Who knows? But it is funny, and he is vaping in Congress,
I can't
as
believe.
you can see.
Well,
in this
I'm mad
article.
that he's gonna cost us our vape representation.
Damn it, we had one at last.
Well, I mean,
Apparently, he was vaping during a transportation committee hearing about whether to ban e-cigarettes on planes. So,
Okay, you know what? That may have been a deliberate statement. It kind of
Yeah,
sounds like
it
you know.
sounds like-
so
It can't have been an accident.
no, of course not.
he's vaping pretty.
Look
He
at
knows.
the-
He
look at
knows what
that.
he's doing.
Look at that image. Look at how smug he looks. He knows.
I mean, someone's probably going on about how, like, oh, we don't know what they're doing as he just blows a fat cloud in their face. Take
Yeah.
that, Madam Speaker, or, you know, whatever the fuck.
He's
they're
clearly
talking
doing it
about.
on purpose to try and undermine vapors everywhere.
Unfortunately, oh, yeah,
Well,
well,
he
yeah, I mean,
well, it
that's the thing. That's
succeeded,
the
and
thing.
now I can't buy Juul pods in Massachusetts anymore.
I guess vaping is a crime now.
legally.
I'm
It's-
just curious.
it's
okay.
No, only buying them is a crime.
Right,
No,
right.
sorry.
They said this
selling them
guy-
is a crime.
Now, I haven't looked into the details of this at all. And, like, so, okay, misspent $250,000. It sounds like he resigned. Like, surely you must go to jail when you misspend $250,000 of
He's
other
a
people's money,
politician.
right?
Yeah,
right?
politicians don't. They make the laws. They don't live by them.
I guess it depends, like, how. Maybe he just, like, bought way too many, like, re-elect me signs for himself. Like, if that's the issue, I mean, like, okay, I guess.
It doesn't matter what you spend it on.
I don't know.
You know,
Okay, surely it matters to some degree. Like, the Steam Games thing, I mean, that's in no way helping the people. Unless he's the gamer representative and he's trying to get in touch with his constituents.
Man,
in which case,
fuck this
Godspeed, sir.
politician shit. When are we going to talk about the new Jesus video game? Did you guys see that?
Oh,
on
the one that,
Twitter?
like, is... I have seen that.
Wait,
I saw Jim's video, and like the other game he talked about seemed way more interesting.
Jim Sterling?
Jim Sterling.
Tell me about the Jesus game, I guess. I haven't seen it.
It's just this is weird. I think it's a pre-rendered trailer. There's no way the game's gonna look like this, but it's called I Am Jesus Christ, and it's like a first-person game where you just bomb around as Jesus. Jesus has a mana bar, and you perform miracles or something.
Wait, I did just see a GIF of it, and it looked like shit.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Well,
but I can't believe it's real.
It's got to be made by like some kind of like
I'm not
like Christian
sure if this
organization
is
that doesn't know what the fuck
if this
they're
is like
doing.
a legitimate like Christian game or if it is a meme. I haven't
yeah.
parsed it out.
Okay, but
yet.
the priest simulator looked a lot more funny and interesting. It's like the Satan just comes in and just strangles you, which is funny.
It's all about the name. It's all in the name. Like, I am
Yeah.
Jesus. It just gets the clicks, you know? So, mission successful. I wonder how much money that will be converted into.
you know,
Probably not much, but
I
some.
was thinking about like the whole like politicians.
Dude, you get to
are
play as Jesus
always-
being crucified. It might be a cutscene.
Dude, game of the year. Game of the year. Confirmed.
Crucifixion.
What were you saying, Gib?
simulator.
I was thinking about like the fundamental problem with politicians always being led to corruption, because it's just sort of a like it always seems to happen no matter what system
Power
there is.
corrupts.
People find ways to, because they're making the laws and they can break them because they're making them essentially. They can find loopholes because they make the loopholes for themselves and for their friends. And it really just comes down to the power of being in power comes with a lot of money. And I think if some Jesus Christ superstar man got into power and then made a law that means that you have you only get minimum wage if you're a politician. Like, you can't get higher than minimum wage. That's what you get. You don't get money for being in power because you already have power.
Hey, Donald Trump gave up his whole salary as president. That's why he's the best we've ever had, right?
Well, he gets
It worked. The system works.
but he gets paid.
His like $200,000 salary as
That's
president.
correct. Yeah, he did. I think he donated. I don't know.
It's
Wow.
just sort of like
How
it's
generous.
kind of an
What a hero.
impossible problem because like
It is. It is.
Well,
Like,
it's
the
it's
reason-
There's no perfect
the reason
system.
that people like politics doesn't necessarily mean you are corrupt if you're a politician. There are people trying to do good things. It's just that mixed in with those people are so many other people who just like the money and the power. And if you take away like the incentive for those other people, you'll be left with only people who care about making their country better or whatever.
for sure.
It's
mean,
just
that's why-
it's just not possible
Yeah.
to make that change because the people who stay in power are usually the people who are the most aggressive and in order to stay in power you need to be focused on staying in power and not focused on
I mean, the
helping
people who are going to be the
much.
most motivated to stay in power are the people for whom is the thing that gets their dick hard. So,
Yeah.
it's going to be a bunch of
That's true,
fucking
yeah.
psychopaths.
Well, I mean, it's like this is the argument for term limits, like this for at least here in the U.S. for like Congress and stuff, because like you have people who just like get paid a fuck ton of money, they get tons of like bribes and through lobbying money, and there's no term limit, so they don't have to deal with the consequences of their legislation. And this is the argument for having term limits. So if you have like a 2-term limit, like whatever fucked up shit you do, you have to live by once your terms are up. But like the issue
true.
right now, of course, is just that like the people with the authority to change society for the better are the ones benefiting from keeping it the way it is. So no one has any incentive or any means to change society, which is why we have to murder everybody.
Makes sense to
Time
me.
for a revolution. Time for a revolution, boys. Vote Bernie.
Time for a 360 revolution. No scope. Kill the president.
Yeah.
Dude, if the person who kills, the next president, Donald Trump, or
Yeah.
whoever comes next, does like a 360 no scope, then I think he should be allowed to not die. I think he should be allowed to go free. In fact, anyone who kills anyone with a
Instead of
360 no
elections,
scope in
the
real
person who does the
life,
best 360 no scope is the next president.
dude, 360 no scopes. I've been training for
Yeah,
this
we
my
want
whole
this to
life.
be
I wonder if
American
anyone
system.
has actually 360 no scope in real life, like in war or
I
something.
I wouldn't be surprised if like some Superman, like some
like,
gamer god,
sniper. Yeah.
played like Call of Duty, got into army because of Call of Duty, and then tried it, and then he got told off. But he's like, yeah,
And he
well,
got fucking immediately like court-martialed because he
What about,
spun
like,
around
at a
in his
target
bunker with his
range?
sniper rifle.
Does it count if you do it just like at a range or something? Is that
if
No,
you
no,
turn
I'm talking
around
about
in
in
a
a live
range, you'll
combat
probably hurt
situation.
someone. Like, I don't think you're allowed to
I
turn
mean-
around with your gun.
What if you just
If you're by yourself, maybe.
generally, you hold it
I'm sure
pointing
people
up,
have done it
you
at a
know?
range. I'm talking about in a
Yeah.
real live
In a live
fire
combat situation.
You'd have to be a fucking psycho.
You'd have to be a
out of your
fucking badass
mind.
dude.
I mean,
You'd have to be like the
that
coolest
is-
soldier out there to do
That
that.
is how they killed Osama bin Laden. So
Oh, you know what? You're right. What was I thinking? Of course.
They just got their kill ratio up so that like it's that Call of Duty achievement where you like unlock the dogs to attach. I think that's
I
how
was
they
gonna
got
say,
what's his face
didn't that
recently.
Kill
That
Streak-
guy.
Remember that one hero dog that like Trump
Yeah,
gave a
yeah.
medal?
yeah,
Maybe the dog like
The Medal of Pawner, I believe it was called.
yeah, like maybe the dog 360 no scoped whoever like
he
fucking
360
killed.
no scoped bit someone in the
Yeah,
lab.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like he
something like
span around perfectly
think the
still
dog's name was-
stationary. Like
It's not as impressive
Conan.
for dogs, though. They have like a great sense of smell.
Conan,
they can,
that's
like,
right.
hone in on
Conan the
targets
Barbarian.
with scent alone.
Okay. The hero dog who was injured during a raid which led to death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Indeed.
Okay, so I don't know if he
bad doggy, more like.
more like bad. Yeah.
Got him.
The only answer to a bad doggy is a good doggy. The only
makes
thing that
sense.
stops a bad doggy with a gun is a good doggy with a gun.
Man, it's fucked up how much we fucked up dogs like as a species. Like pugs' eyes just fall out and shit.
Sure.
I mean, there's no way to fix this
they love
issue.
it though. They love it.
Could
Man.
we call this
Pugs'
the
eyes
first ever
falling out.
ethical
We
genocide?
we
Murdering
fucked them up
people.
so their eyeballs pop out, but we also bred them to fucking love it.
I mean that's
They
true.
cannot get enough of
true.
their own
No,
eyeballs
stop.
falling
no,
out.
No, stop. It's gross.
It
They
is
cannot
terrible.
get enough of barely
Ben.
being able to breathe at all times.
Yeah, that's a reality.
The
No.
modest amount of air that they're able to get in is like just enough to keep them fucking jazzed about life.
If you could
It's
create
just
a
so
life-
they're fucking high on like oxygen deprivation 24/7.
You know what? Yeah.
Constant
Fair.
autoerotic
Fair.
asphyxiation. That's just their modus operandi. Brilliant maneuver.
All right, I'm tapped. Yeah, I'm dry of things to say.
I want to say one
Yeah.
thing that happened to me almost immediately after we stopped recording last week on Sunday.
Yeah.
So before the podcast, I cooked myself some chicken and I ate it, and I thought to myself that tasted a little bit odd, not like bad, just a little bit odd. And then after the podcast, like I didn't immediately go to bed, but that day-ish, I went to bed. And I started getting chills, and I started feeling really bad, and the chills got really violent and painful, and my fever rose to 39 Celsius, which I think is 102 Fahrenheit.
Word.
And
high.
and I thought because I kept getting chills, I thought it was gonna get higher, and my boyfriend was asleep, so I just left him a message on Discord. If I don't wake
Yeah?
up, call the ambulance.
Oh, all right.
Wait,
I was-
where-
I-
where
That's
did
a
it
millennial
say?
lifestyle.
Oh god, did you wake up?
On Discord. I don't know, did I?
Jeez.
But yeah, I was scared because I didn't know at that point that it was food poisoning. I just started messaging people, just like, hey, I might not do the commission. I'm sorry. Give me a few days.
If I might never wake up in time to do the commission.
I didn't want to alert people. I just said like, hey, I'm a little bit not feeling too good, not sure when I'm gonna feel better. But yeah, I was panicking because I don't remember the last time my fever was so high. But yeah, so like it did go down eventually within the 24 hours, and then like 3 days after, I was in pretty bad shape. On the upside though, I got to taste Jacob's crackers. Jacob's is a brand, and crackers are really and
Those are the
they're really
best.
nice. Yeah, they're really nice. I was
Jacob's
I'm
crackers are
surprised-
like a cure-all for feeling sick. I always have like a whole packet when I'm just not like I don't want to eat real food in case I get like throw up.
Right.
Yeah,
Crackers
yeah.
are
If your
disposable.
stomach is upset, you can eat crackers, and Jacob's crackers are really nice and toasty. I like how lightly toasted they are. They're just so good. Very good crackers.
You know,
Yeah.
Michelle wasn't
So-
feeling great the other day, so I went out and got chicken soup, crackers, and ginger ale. And
Oh, that's good. Good combo.
I have enjoyed those myself with all the leftovers, and it has been delicious. I love them.
Yeah, so for 3 days afterward, I had to be within close proximity of a bathroom at all times. Not good days, not good days.
Do you know what it is that gave you the poison? Was it the chicken uncooked or something?
I
or?
think it wasn't cooked enough. Okay, so like there are like instructions on that chicken specific. It's like after you open the packet, 24 hours to eat them. It had not been 24 hours, but it was getting close, and I might have taken them out a bit too early, and it just baffles me because like they were supposed to cook for 5 more minutes afterwards. So those 5 minutes could have been
Might have
like the
made the
difference
difference.
between food poisoned and not food poisoned. So cook your food, people.
Chicken
Properly.
especially.
Lesson well learned.
And
When
fish.
when I've been making the curry recently, like the way you cook it is you fry the vegetables and the meat at the beginning, but you're only supposed to fry them for like 5 minutes, so the meat is not fully cooked at that point. But then like you put into boiling water, you like cook it in
yeah.
that for longer.
Yeah.
And like I've been scared every time that like I'm not cooking it as long as it needs to. It hasn't been an issue so far, and it's been perfect.
Well, so long
'Cause
as you
I've-
boil it properly, like it should be okay.
Yeah, but I've been scared that I'm going to undercook it because it goes in. not
Just
fully cooked,
just
but-
just boil it for a little bit extra.
I have been, but now
Yeah.
now that I've heard your tale, even more so, even more.
Yeah,
So.
I spooked everyone, but yeah, I survived thankfully. But God, that was such a big scare.
That is unfortunate. Being
Mage,
sick
not
is
sure if she's going to
the
die.
worst.
First concern is I can't wake up my boyfriend, and my commissioners might be upset with me.
You know, there's a feeling I think in all of us that's like if I bother someone, like at any moment we might be dying of something. I've got a little prick in my back. Maybe I just got bit by a black widow. I'm about to die. And if I don't contact someone within 10 seconds, like I'm going to, die of that poison. But maybe it's nothing, and I don't want to bother people in case it turns out to be nothing. There's like a certain amount of an estimation you have to make there about how much you're willing to
don't
bother
really,
people.
Like if I feel like I might die, I'm not gonna worry about that. Like
Yes,
Like, if
fine.
it turns out-
it's the doubt. It's the doubt that gets you. Is it? I mean, this is how I think about it. Because I
mean,
think
if
about
I
this sometimes.
I don't really get too worried if I'm not like actually feeling bad as well.
Mhm.
Like if I'm feeling bad, physically, and it like I might be sick, and this might be a really bad sickness. I don't think people
Sure.
are like I don't think of like my like a worry in the moment as like that big of a deal in hindsight. Like people aren't gonna worry about it. But if it was like I didn't feel anything, but I just had some strange idea that I was gonna die, that would be weird. I wouldn't bother people then.
That's true.
For me, it was kind of like my boyfriend already knew that I was sort of ill because I went to bed and said like I'm feeling really cold and I'm not feeling too good. So he knew I was not good, and the fever just hit me in the middle of the night, and I woke up because of the fever. So I didn't want to pester him because what is he gonna do? I'm just gonna wake him up and worry him. Just like it's not
Fair.
gonna matter. Like. I just asked him to like check up on me when he wakes up, and if I'm like not responsive, then call an ambulance. But I was too awake. I didn't fall asleep that night. But yeah, before that, I didn't even know that it was food poisoning because beforehand, for like a whole month, I was feeling ill, like sore throat and like very small fevers here and there because I always get sick around this time of year. So that threw me off, and I didn't realize it was food poisoning up until like much later. But he was the one who suggested, "Oh, it could have been food poisoning." I was like, "Nah, it must be just like the flu." But no, he was right.
Flu poisoning.
Well, glad you made it out the other side. I suspect a cold. See, now that I'm thinking about sickness, now I'm feeling like I'm. Oh, am I like hotter than I normally feel? Why am I so hot right now? Is this like a fever coming on? I get all.
When fevers come on, you usually feel a chill rather than feeling hot.
What makes you feel hot? Like a cold or?
The chill comes on when your fever is rising because your muscles spasm and they're trying to combat the whatever is ailing you, so to speak.
Right.
So by the time you're feeling hot, you feel the fever, but the fever isn't rising anymore, so you're stable.
I think it's the flu. The flu makes you feel hot. I think.
I thought just a cold makes you feel hot, or I don't know.
It's the...
I don't know.
Oh,
I've been staring at the screen all day doing work, but I feel like a weird thing in my head. Oh God, it's my disease is creeping back up. It's Japanese cold. The most deadly disease known to man.
From The Simpsons.
That's the one.
I remember that episode.
I think I've got that.
Japanese cold?
They sneezed into a box and they sent it. I guess it was a Chinese cold actually.
Oh, okay.
And then
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I'm talking about anime colds that lay people low.
The anime cold that whenever someone says your name, you sneeze no matter where. You are.
That's slightly different, but okay.
I get it. Like when in an anime, when someone gets a cold, they just they have to be hospitalized.
Hit the fucking floor. Yes, that's right. Instantly.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I'm tapped. We got a couple of voicemails.
I'm not tapped.
Oh, okay.
I got some things to say. Mm-hmm. For one,
say them.
Imagine me, dear reader, but on a good podcast. That happened.
No.
Can you believe it?
It can't.
Do you guys know the Sketchy People podcast?
Oh
yeah.
I was on there. Yes. I've been on there a couple times.
Were you on that? Okay. I was on it. I was on it this Friday. I don't know when the episode's coming out, but link in the description, I guess. I was on it with who was on it? Lemon Tart, Seika Tattoo, Art of Graph, aka Green Fleshy Flowers, Asha, AM. Fuck, I don't know if I'm forgetting anyone. I think that's it. Anyway, it was good. It's a good show.
That's nice.
Graph did if you remember from the editor contest, Graph was the one whose entry was the TVs, all the TV screen, and like he basically recreated that but different for there, and it looks really cool. I'm glad it lives on because I really like that concept.
Yeah.
Anyway, we talked about art and fucking comics and shit, and they asked me a bunch of questions.
That's
and
cool.
I dab.
Oh. Neverpaint is also.
Oh yeah, Neverpaint was there. Neverpaint was there too.
And I think Noodle Bomb.
Noodle Bomb, yes, but Noodle Bomb was not on the episode I was on.
But
he is in there.
Sketchy People podcast. That's good.
Yeah. Also, okay. So I did a thing. I announced a thing for my Patreon, and like, it's probably just like not gonna do anything, but I'm gonna say it here anyway, just in case. So I said that, like, since I'm doing Slime and Punishment, and I'm putting in Slime Boys as, like, background characters, I said on Twitter that, like, if you are my patron, and you are a Slime Boy, I will, like, give you preferential treat. I will put you'll be on the short list to be a background character. But it's only for Slime Boys. Like, if you're not an Endless War player, like, there's no point. Right? And I'm not going to just, like, put your OC in if your OC has... If you don't play Endless War and you're not in there and you don't know what it is, right?
Sure.
So I announced this on Twitter, and like one guy became a patron, and it was someone who had previously been a patron anyway. So I think that probably maybe this doesn't make any difference. Maybe I just have already included all of the hardcore Slime Boys anyway, or enough of them that like maybe anyone who would have maybe pledged for this quote unquote, for this honor, this dubious distinction, like has already gotten it and doesn't need it anymore. But whatever.
I think a lot of rewards like this, like a lot of people kind of just don't hear about them and aren't even aware it's something they could do. I feel that with some things I do sometimes.
I'm saying it here just so everyone knows. It's not even like, I mean, I guess it is a reward for pledging, but like, like as much as that, it's just like I have to put some people in. It kind of, to a certain extent, it sort of doesn't matter who I put in as background characters. And I feel like if I'm gonna give someone that, I might as well give it to someone who's, like, supporting me on Patreon. So I said, like, If you're
Makes sense.
if you're pledging me $10, you will be in. Just message me on Patreon, and I will even if I wouldn't have had another, I will like add an extra page just to get you in there. If you're pledging less than that, then it'll just be like basically the more you're pledging, the higher up on the list you'll be, and I'll just go down in like priority list basically. And message me on Patreon, pledge me on Patreon. I've sort of been neglecting my Patreon, and I kind of need to like not do that.
I too have been kind of trying to do a couple of things. I've been doing this like my monthly podcast, wherever I do, just like how things are going overall for this like a year of experimentation, and then I started doing like anybody who's pledging $10, I'll give like a long answer to any questions. But only like a couple of people have actually taken me up on that, so I wonder how many are actually hearing about that feature. So hey, $10.
I keep thinking I should steal Hippo's idea, steal your idea, and just do a Money Spenders podcast. Sometimes I think that I should just pull a Jesse and just like disappear and make Patreon the only way to contact me. It seemed to have worked pretty well for him.
I mean, I'm doing a Patreon podcast, and it's working out pretty well for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what mine is too. I think all of us are kind of
30-something episodes so far. $5. Get in on it if you're not already.
All
Shameless
right.
plug is shameless.
Guess I might start thinking about that.
I mean, it's fun to do. I mean, I just
a
solo
podcast.
Yeah, I just have I have two podcasts right now. I have like one where it's just like whatever strikes my fancy, I'll just make them whenever, and $1 patrons get that. And then for $5, I have a suggestions channel on the Discord, and then people can leave topic suggestions, and at the end of the week, everyone who dropped one in, I'll be like, all right, this is what you want to talk about this week, and then I'll just go off and make a half an hour of a podcast. It's fucking great.
Since currently the reward on my $5 tier is like access to speed draws, I do have what I did. I downloaded all the VODs of my like Twitch draw streams, and I like started doing this, but I didn't finish it, and I might do it at some point. Is like just fucking speed them up and condense those down into speed draws and make those like some patrons only content. So that's the thing. I should probably do. I guess if everyone's doing a fucking solo Money Spenders podcast, I should probably do one too.
It doesn't hurt. It's simple enough to do for me to be justified, I think. So
yeah, okay.
And I kind of like it. It forces me to sit down and like think about stuff, which I kind of like.
Which is like I hate to do it. You hate to do it. You hate to sit down and acknowledge the realities of this world.
Indeed.
I like doing the Money Spenders podcast because it allows me
That's still my favorite name.
to talk about the sort of stuff that's going on in my life that only patrons would care about. So it one makes sense.
You
and
know,
two,
these
is an
people give a
incentive.
little bit of a shit at least,
Right.
which is nice to know. Yeah.
It might you know what I think would maybe be the good thing about it is that then like it like since I don't like post a lot of content specifically to Patreon, I mostly interact with people through Twitter, but it would probably be good to have a thing that only patrons are listening to, and so only patrons are responding to, and so I'm getting like patron feedback like from my like the people from like specifically the people supporting.
Yeah,
like,
it
they're
doesn't
the
hurt
ones
to have
responding.
that dedicated avenue that is just those people.
Yeah.
Just for comparison's sake, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Maybe they could probably give some I felt some insight coming from that group commenting on mine. That's been, I mean, just knowing it's people who are invested. Again, like that particular group has kind of its own biases. They might like you too much, or they might be like too invested in stuff and not able to make the kind of cold-hearted decisions you need to as a businessman or whatever. But just having that data set has been useful, I think.
Right. Yeah. Okay, well, now I'm tapped out as well.
Okay. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? All that reminded me that I did have one little announcement. It's not a big deal. It's nothing crazy, except that the Heart Gold Nuzlocke begins tomorrow, everybody. If you're listening to this episode, the new Nuzlocke, I've decided, fuck it, I don't care about waiting anymore, whatever. I'm going to be streaming twice a week from now on, Tuesdays and Saturdays. But starting the day you hear this, tomorrow on twitch.tv/definitelybestguyever, 7 p.m. Now, no more of this 30 stuff. We don't need that anymore. 7 p.m. on Saturday, December the 14th, the first episode of the new Nuzlocke. It's going to be a whole new thing. Heart Gold, best Pokemon game ever made. It's going to be, actually, it's weird going from the quality of life changes in Sword and Shield like should have been there generations ago, but going back to like not having them
but
anymore.
they took out
is gonna
follow
be painful.
Pokemon, so the game sucks. 0 out
Oh
of
my
10.
god, I
haven't-
forgot Heart Gold like has that. That'll be
That's
totally
the
fucking
only
sick.
reason to play Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I mean, that's not true, but it's up there.
Pretty much.
I've been playing
I love
through
Aquicorn.
Black, or I have a white version actually, but I'm playing through
Yeah.
white because comments on the I Am Games video I did on the first impressions for the new one is like that's the best one, and I haven't
Black and
played it.
white are fucking sick.
And I'm playing it, and it is like you can just tell going through the towns and stuff, all the
Mhm.
little details they add that they cared a lot more, and there was just more like life to everything.
You're not wrong. You're
Like
not
in
wrong.
one of the first towns, something that was super fucking cool is like you're just in the town and it's playing a background music, and then you go into this like room and there's like a piano and something like as two people in there playing instruments, and you talk to them and it just adds more to the music, and then you go back outside and now the
Yeah.
music's like remixed. I'm like,
Yeah,
That's
there's
right,
nothing
I
like
remember
this in those
that.
other games. Like the
Yeah.
towns feel so empty compared to this.
Yo,
but
listen.
the
oh, yeah,
quality
go on,
of
go on.
life stuff of the new games is like,
Yeah.
oh god,
Oh,
what do
you
you
miss
mean?
it.
What do you mean I don't
Single
get
use
XP
TMs?
for catching Pokemon?
Are you fucking kidding me? Single use TMs?
Well,
Holy shit!
my big problem is that like not getting XP for catching Pokemon makes me not want to ever catch Pokemon ever.
Oh yeah, that.
Like I have like almost 200 catches in
that is
the new game
ridiculous.
that I just from my playthrough, and I usually never break 50 on my first run of a Pokemon
Yeah,
game because
yeah.
I'm like, why would I ever waste my time catching Pokemon, which serves me no purpose? And I'll
You
just
know-
save it for endgame. Who fucking cares?
Your subject of like having things reminded me of a brilliant thing I read. I think this was on like a 4chan thread about something, but I thought this was a very insightful commentary on like old game good, new game bad mindsets, which is it's that. So like when you compare like Sword and Shield, for example, or really like any kind of like AAA fantasy game, like your Final Fantasy 15 or something like that, to like you could say Final Fantasy 7 or like a sprite like Final Fantasy 6, something like that, any of that old stuff. Let's just do like a fancy 3D game versus like an old like 16-bit like Final Fantasy 6, for example. It's that in the new game, this was something somebody was pointing out that like when you play the new game, it can feel kind of like empty and lifeless, despite there being so much more stuff. And it's like, why is that? And this person's point was, if you got a game like Final Fantasy VI, it's sprite based, right? And you walk around a town and like they don't have to think about there's not so much information that you need to fill this huge 3D space with stuff. And we're hitting this like intellectual wall, or this like cognition limit that we can't expect a company. Like, does every fucking blade of grass in like Breath of the Wild like have meaning and purpose? No, it does not. Or like Final Fantasy 15 is an even better example. Absolutely not. Like the vast majority of it is really just filling empty space because something has to be in that space. But in your average like town, or even just like an open wilderness in like a Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy 6, like proportionately speaking, way more love and way more like kind of intelligence or purpose is given to every like individual tile or something.
Sure.
So it's like when you look at a game like a Chrono Trigger, you can kind of feel that like more thought was put into every individual panel there. Versus something like Final Fantasy 15, where we just know it's mostly like filler content with a
because,
couple
like-
of waypoints in this giant world that have like actual meaning by the developers. And that
Everything-
gulf is the soul versus soulless feeling, I think
Everything
a lot of people talk
in
about.
Chrono Trigger,
Yeah.
was put there by hand because the
Indeed,
entire thing had to
indeed.
be handcrafted. But in Final Fantasy 15, all of the like
Mm-hmm.
the vast majority of the environment stuff, like the blades of grass, that's all just like a shader or like just like a program that just like
Right.
populates with grass. Like none of that was like hand placed and stuff. Like
And
that.
you know, if anybody's going to say something like, because this is fair, like Final Fantasy 6 or Chrono Trigger, like they use tile sets. I mean, okay, that's true, but like think of the proportions. Like so many less tiles are used compared to like the vast, gigantic open spaces of like a Final Fantasy 15 or 13 or I don't know, Assassin's Creed or something like that. Not that I've played many of those. So I think that this gulf is why at least people like me get instantly more attracted to like sprite-based games because it
think-
feels more
Another
like somebody
interesting
cared.
thing, especially
Yeah.
considering a game like an RPG like Chrono Trigger or Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy, is that like the level of abstraction allows
Mm-hmm.
you to like you kind of just subconsciously fill in the gaps, because
Yes.
it's like you're in a town and like there's like 5 buildings in the town, but because it's so abstract, it's the idea of a town, and then your subconscious like fills in what isn't there. But once you get like into 3D space that's more photorealistic, it's just, it's the uncanny valley. It's like, well, there's only like, 20 people in
Now,
this town.
all that work that was done by the player's imagination has to be done by the developers. And there's
Exactly.
no way they can live up to that expectation that we've had, like, from our youth. And,
I mean,
and
this is why realism is such a bane on fucking video games. Like, it's all this empty work that serves no real purpose. It doesn't serve the game. It's just like kind of dick wagging for no benefit for anybody. It's just empty, pointless, soulless work to recreate the drudgery of reality that I hate and want to escape in the first place.
That's exactly what I was going to. And like the only thing is, I do feel sympathy for companies who feel, and to an extent it's true, that they like have to live up to this standard that they feel is being set. I mean, companies like Square Enix take it to the extreme, and they do it like they too much. They have to live up to this.
Manners, please.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was still muted. Lol.
You were not. Well, whatever.
That's
You know what I'm
staying
saying.
in.
That's what I think about video
I just
games.
wrote a post on Twitter.
I apologize profusely for that.
I mean, this was slightly unrelated, but I just made a post on Twitter this morning. I was just thinking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Wasn't exactly about this, but just, like, I do have sympathy for companies that I think these days, like, standards just changed, expectation of the audience changed, or at least companies' understanding of what they think the audience needs has changed, and it's just put such a burden on them, and I have true sympathy for the trap they've basically fallen into with this. But I'm just gonna, I mean, I'm playing Crosscode right now. It's like a 16-bit game, and I'm loving it so much more than like any RPG I've played in the last, I don't know, like RPG specifically in the last probably like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years.
You know, I unmuted myself. I was eating, lol.
Mm-hmm.
But I am muted myself because Ni no Kuni deals with this problem of like things being like too real for you to get that it's like everything you see. You know, the problem.
Does it
you're
have
talking
meaning,
about.
or is it like filler content, like with a big 3D?
No,
space?
everything is handcrafted, but the way they get around it's stylized, and when you're in world map or in your kingdom, you are like a tiny little chibi-ized version of yourself, and everything's small and cute, and it kind of looks like when you're running around your kingdom, upgrading things, they have like timers. So like once you've spent a load of money, there's like, oh, this will take like 12 minutes to research. So then you go out into the field and you do stuff, and you come back and you've got more income to spend, and research is completed. But it looks like a mobile game, which is like, it doesn't play like a mobile game, but it looks like a little mobile game. If you imagine, like, I don't know, Clash of Guys.
My favorite.
Where everything's sort of like cutesy and stylized and cartoony, and they can make games in 3D that look good. It's good.
I think Ni no Kuni is a great example of like not letting technology like rule you, because the game's stylized, so it's probably not pushing technological boundaries the same way something like Death Stranding is, for example.
No.
But it still looks good because it's art direction instead of raw poly count.
What's that one Zelda game that people hated when it came out, but then started praising about how
Wind Waker?
I think so.
Yeah, Wind Waker, that's the one.
There is a lot. There is a very specific Wind Waker feeling, like the sea town level, which is like kind of like a half submerged. It's not called Athens, Atlantis. So it's like sort of Greekish architecture with a few of these stone walkways that are very like covered in water, but like by 1 or 2 inches of water, and you splash through it. And it's a really sunny town, and it just is I love it so much. I love the music. I love being in that place, and it's a stylized location. It's so wonderful that it couldn't exist in real life, because like the realistic lighting engine would make the shadows so dark that they're black, and walking into them would be like, oh, like, how in like realistic games where they do that thing where if you go from extreme shadow to extreme brightness, the camera adjusts its aperture or whatever to like adjust to the light, and now like you can't see anything that's in the shadow, and when you're in the shadow, the light areas are completely like so bright that you can't see anything. I don't like that about reality. I would prefer being able to see the shadows and the light at the same time. And
Sure.
you know, I would prefer the world to be art directed, but the real world has annoying things such as you can't see, like the human eye is fallible. I prefer video games where they got around those problems and then they artificially putting them back in so that people can imagine they're outside or some stupid bullshit.
You know,
I like cute games, pastel colors, bright games. Like Story of Seasons games are cute and nice looking, and I love them.
I mean, I'm totally with you on the stylization thing being nice. But I mean, you guys you're talking more about graphics, which again is fine and I agree with. But like, I meant it a little bit more like specifically like gameplay wise. I think maybe one good example is like, for example, you got a game like Final Fantasy 12 where it's a big open 3D world you can walk around, but there are like set areas that you walk into. But the problem, I mean, it's not really a problem, but like the kind of issue is that you can like look down a path and you see that there's so much more city that you just can't access due to like, you know, invisible walls and not even necessarily that, but like the city is structured in such a way that you can't get to like the vast majority of it. Whereas if you compare that to something like Final Fantasy 9, for example, or even Final Fantasy 7, which is the same. They both have like pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff and like pathways that you're led along. Like a city like Lindblum or something, or Trino, it's clearly bigger than the set few areas you're like able to walk in relatively to like how big the city looks. But it feels satisfying from a gameplay sense because like every area you walk through, it's not, they're not like a Breath of the Wild where like it's a whole map full of shit and then there's just a couple things in there to do, or like a Final Fantasy 15 or something. It's that like every alley in there is used for like some event throughout the game. So they all like feel meaningful. Like, oh, this is where I had like that boss battle. Here's where like Freya joined my party. And it feels like every area, for the most part, not every single one, but like more of it proportionately feels like it had value and purpose behind it in terms of gameplay and like,
I would say
stuff.
like Ni no Kuni, they have some really good level designers because the towns in that game are one of the only places, like there are the towns, castles, like main areas, hubs, where you talk to people, and that's where your normal character model is. They have designed these towns in such a way that they are actually very, very small, but they've made it like I don't know how they did it. I would have to like see if there's an analysis video analyzing the topography, the geology of like Goldpaw, which is like a Chinese dog city where everyone's a dog, and they go to the casino and it's China and it's a really nice place. But there's like all these alleyways, but it's not like all these alleyways. It's like the entire city there's no like invisible wall and the rest of the city is over there. It's like the whole city is very small. There's only a few buildings, but it feels like it's a big place because of the way they've structured, you know, the stairs and the alleyways and and you know what you can see from each location. I feel like a lot of thought has been put into making a 3D environment like that like feel bigger than it is, and it's really well done.
I think I had the similar sense with Ding Dong Dell, like the first city you go into, the first Ni no Kuni. Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, now that you mention it, I didn't even think about it. I like it.
Well,
they did a
perhaps,
really good job.
Hopefully we've been successful at articulating this nebulous game feel issue. But that's just a theory, a game theory. So let us know what you think, I guess. You want to go to the voicemails now, lads?
I'm ready. I'm ready for those fucking voicemails.
Okay, all right. We've only got 3, so we'll get through them pretty quick here. Oh, there was an update. I didn't feel the need to play it, but I think we had guessed last time that the voicemail god was Keyblade Spirit. Confirmed not Keyblade Spirit. And the Keyblade. Do you guys remember?
No.
What was it? Remember the unironic gang weed guy who had called in as the Joker before? That's another voice of the voice. Okay, well, I remember. Who could ever forget that beloved character? You know, I actually just watched the Dark Knight, like this morning as I was doing other work. Excellent film. It's kind of amazing how many legendary lines are like all from that one movie. Unironically incredible filmmaking. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. Fuck you, voicemail god. No one will ever figure out who you are. Rest in peace.
You made it too hard, dude. You fucked up.
You did make it too hard.
I think it's like I don't want to be mean or anything, but like
Yeah.
it's a little bit unreasonable to just like guess who I am, and we have to wait a week only to hear nope, guess again.
Yeah, I mean,
We
how long
already,
are we gonna
Yeah,
play
no
this game
thanks.
out?
No, I'm
we
done.
already.
I'm
I mean,
out.
like it's already annoying when you're in real life next to the person and they say it's like, hey, guess what I have or something. Guess this thing, and you guess once and you're already done with it. Like you don't want to hear more.
Indeed.
So just come out with it. We're not gonna do this for months. It's not
True.
fun.
True. Well, okay. So that all being out of the way, we've got a voicemail called "Not Surprised, Just Disappointed." Okay, and let's play it. 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
A KPCP, here's a list of potential characters I'd rather get fucked in the ass by. Ben Saint. Betty's real gentle. Digibro. I'm not getting fucked by a little girl. Endless Jess. Too Harry. Best guy ever. Yeah, sure, why not? So in conclusion, you're all terrible homosexual lovers. Don't you ever be looking round here for work again.
Lol.
Okay.
That rope-
I thought that was funnier the first time I heard it.
It's
I'm
alright.
not gonna lie.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
a
not
robot
offended.
who owns a gay brothel, and you all appeared, apparently.
I don't even understand the premise. It was that people I'd rather be fucked in the ass by, but he objected to most of them and then said he would.
I guess he's ranking. He's ranking us.
He's glitching
Okay.
out.
Something
He
like
needs his
that.
oil checked.
Okay, that embarrassment behind us. Let's move on to the next one. This is from Hikikomori Rambo. Okay, all right, here we go, and play.
Yeah, so this one goes out to Ben Saint.
Yay.
I just started a pretty normie office gig, and I noticed in the break room on my first day, there was perched atop the refrigerator a box that stated Slim Fast Keto Peanut Butter Cups. And not only
dude.
was this box perfectly at eye level with me, but also etched on the side in Sharpie, it said, "Please eat these." And,
Nice.
you know, you really can't ask for more
Fuck
of an open
yes.
invitation than that. So I decided to take the box down, unsheath one of the individual peanut butter cups, and eat it. And, you know, Ben, you get a lot of shit on the podcast whenever you talk about keto. I don't really know
Not as much
that much
as
about it.
as I would have
so
expected.
I've had a pretty open mind. So being able to actually experience something keto certified, like literally says on the box this is keto, I have to say, completely, bias free,
Did it give you crazy
it was one of the
diarrhea?
worst fucking things I've ever eaten in my
Fuck
entire
off.
life, dude.
Fuck
Anyways, my question is,
off.
why are you so gay?
Get the fuck out of here, you fucking douchebag.
You know, this is not even. Okay, you want to have something that's keto and great? Eat bacon. There you go.
Yeah, eat
First of all,
eggs,
eat
eat
bacon.
eggs.
Second of all, what he doesn't say what was wrong with them. Did they taste bad? Because
I think that was his point. I think he was saying
I've
they tasted
had
bad.
sugar-free chocolate shit before, and it has given me ridiculous diarrhea because some like artificial sweeteners can give you fucking crazy diarrhea. Yeah, that happened.
Well-
Is that the problem? Did they just taste like shit? What? How did they taste like shit? I've never. Some
He could have
people,
given us more information.
Some people,
That's true.
I don't know. Some people are like really sensitive
Mm-hmm.
to the taste of like artificial sweeteners and can be like, oh, like
Yeah,
stevia
yeah.
has a weird aftertaste, sucralose has a weird aftertaste. Ugh, gross. I pity those people. I really do. Because
If
to
you-
me, there's like
They're not
almost
new
no...
types like Ben over here.
Yeah, to
they haven't
me, I
evolved.
literally cannot tell the difference between like something that's sweetened with sucralose and something.
If you're
that's not.
doing keto correctly, you shouldn't even be having artificial sweeteners because they still trigger insulin, and you don't want to
Yeah.
have an insulin reaction. Just eat fats and proteins. Fuck everything else.
Well,
Yeah.
it sounded like a rookie's first attempt
Clearly.
at foraying into the world of keto, and it went catastrophically wrong for him.
Making
but
a
give it
rookie
a try.
mistake is fine. Casting judgment on an entire fucking mindset due
But
to
when
one
you can
bad
do it as a
experience.
vehicle to dab on Ben, I mean, who's going to turn that one down?
I don't think
You know, it's a
honestly.
tempting
I think
mistress.
this guy's arguing in bad faith. He didn't
Oh,
lay
yeah?
he didn't lay out a coherent
Okay,
case
okay.
for what was wrong. What was wrong with the fucking peanut butter cups, dude?
I don't know. I don't
We'll name one thing that was wrong with those fucking
There
peanut
wasn't
butter
enough.
cups.
There wasn't enough pea. There wasn't enough nut. I think.
Too much nut, not enough pee, in my opinion. That's,
Fucking gross. Fucking
all right,
disgusting.
let's move on right along here. We've only got one left. We only got one voicemail left.
Oh my
and it's,
God.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
right. That's right. And this is from Harlock Asnable, who's written it. I think he.
Oh,
he
I
had a
think I know what
message
he's gonna
last week.
say. I think
Okay,
he's
I
gonna
can't remember.
Well, I'll tell you. I think this is probably about the fact that Harlock Asnable, who famously got a girlfriend at
Anime Club.
Anime
Oh,
Club.
that's right.
He told
Yes.
me, I think it was on Twitch, twitch.tv/Saint Comics with an X,
Yeah,
dab, that his brother also got a girlfriend
Oh,
at
yeah.
Anime Club. Not the
There was-
same
there was something
Anime
about
Club. A different Anime Club. But
Okay,
anyway,
well let's
let's
him
see
tell
if
the
I'm
tale
right
here.
and that's what this is about.
All right, Harlock. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yo, update on Anime Club GFs. My little brother went to an anime club at his high school, and he also got a girlfriend. So
Nice.
this is really starting to be a
It's
threat
clearly
to
a fountain of
society.
youth.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd also like to make it clear that I am making a bet with Ben Saint.
Yeah.
If I'm not with this Anime Club GF that I'm with right now till February, I'll give him fat stacks on his Patreon. But if I am, and he was wrong, we did make it to February, I'm giving Nate Bestman
Now
fat
we're
stacks
talking,
on his
baby.
Patreon.
Oh,
That's the rules
so
of the bet.
Stupid.
Here we go.
February.
That's right.
Specifically Valentine's Day. Fucking be there or be square.
Why does it make me
Good luck
so
to you,
much
guy.
more angry to imagine Nate getting money from me losing than it does to imagine just me not getting the money from losing?
All I can say to this is hashtag gamify your GF. Boys across the world, gamify your GF. This is the right way to structure a relationship. I have no doubt about it. Make it so that it's a bet if you stay with this girl, not based on like if you like her or if there's any chemistry.
Hey Harlock, great way to make me
Does she
win
know this?
is tell her about these voicemails. Okay, consider that possibility. If you want
I wonder
Nate
if
to...
she knows. I wonder if they know about this. I would be fascinated.
Okay, no, because I think when he first called in, we said like Valentine's Day, and I said, "Oh, they won't be together by Valentine's Day," and
this
I stand by
motherfucker-
that. I think that's statistically probably true. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Who the fuck
who
knows?
can say?
Who
I
the
mean,
fuck knows?
I like to think that our boy Harlock is gazing lovingly into his anime GF's eyes, and he's like, "Honey, I'm so happy to be with you. I feel like we're gonna be together forever." Rolls over, picks up phone, calls in. "What's up, PCP? I want to make a quick bet over here. I think I'm gonna be with this bitch forever. Just letting you know, money flipping it around. I mean, no matter what, this man is losing money. It's either going to Ben or to me, based on the stakes of the game here.
That's why.
And, I mean, that sits just fine with me.
Relationships
I wasn't even
are
involved in
expensive.
this until now.
You know, you gotta have those fat stacks if you want to keep a woman
Those
interested.
fat stacks of pancakes.
You gotta be giving fat stacks to either Ben Saint or Best Guy Ever on Patreon if they're
It's
gonna
the
even
only-
glance your way.
It's the dichotomy of man, really. Either one of these two, it's the only way.
Well, all
well,
right,
best of
I like
luck.
it. It's spicy.
It is spicy. Well done. I'll be eagerly awaiting. Now, so, what is that?
Wait,
February
get your
14th,
brother.
right?
Get your brother to call in. I want to make the same bet with him.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be great. That would
I
be
wanna
great.
double the
Same
stakes.
Let's take his money as well.
Hell
to
yeah,
one of
dude.
us or the other. Ooh, maybe me and Ben can make a secret bet. To no matter who wins, we'll split the money 50-50. And
Ooh.
I mean, I guess then there's no
Hedging
need
our
to do
bets,
anything.
eh? I like
makes
those
sense.
odds.
Okay, well, we made corruption aside, guaranteed corruption aside.
Collusion. Yeah.
That's collusion. Yeah, that's the end of the voicemails, everybody. But leave us more at the SpeakPipe link down below. Somebody called in and was saying like, it's hard to leave a voicemail to like get the audio quality in. But wasn't there a solution that like Oblivion had in order to get like a high quality audio uploaded?
Yeah, but
to
who
SpeakPipe?
remembers that? I don't know how to look back
I wish
at
we had, like,
past episodes.
If anybody remembers, like post it in the comments or something, and I will like add a little document to the description of episodes if people want to do that, because it seems useful to have, just because some people care about like the quality, and there's some issues with that. Okay, but nonetheless, leave us your fucking voicemails. Don't overthink it, but also make it decent, or you won't get played. We're culling, as you can see on this episode, and that's it. Patreon.com/theprocrastinators. $5 for bonus episodes. Game Development 1 was recent. That was a good one. There's like 32 total episodes. What a steal. And at least $1 getting the PCP Patron Lounge. What a fun time that is for all. What else we got? At TPCrastinators on Twitter. Updates, releases, etc., etc. Send us shit there. And I think that'll about do it. Send more voicemails. We need them. Always happy to have them. And that's it.
Yep.
Patreon.com/PCBMinecraft. If you want to play Minecraft with us today, as soon as you're done listening to this, we're like about to start streaming, I think, like right as you fucking hear this shit, or maybe we already have. So go give us $5 and you can play with us for a month. And then a month after that for another $5 and so on until the end of time. Peace be Minecraft forever. All right, that's it. We're done. See you next week, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a good time. Bye.